This is the OMFL.
Can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Name. Here's another OMFL production.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Season 80 OMFL Draft. That's right, it is here. We are already on pick number 28 of the Paul's Draft, so it looks like we'll get through the first round. And, man, it's been an adventure this afternoon. We were paused on the draft at pick number 10 for a majority of last night and today. And look at there, it is on my pick. And guess what? I have zero clue who's been picked. I have zero clue who I'm even looking at. And so we're going to stop right here on the Paul's Draft. I am going to quickly break down who's been picked, and then we'll get us to a quick little break where I can make my pick, and then the real draft can get started here. It's been a lot of picks here in the last, 10 minutes or so. So let me go ahead and get us caught up. Let me find out where we're at here. It's been a good Paul's Draft, but it like I said, we were hung up for a good while there, and it looks like we are now unhung, which is a really good thing. But at the same time, picks have been pretty fast and furious since this afternoon. Just going to catch myself up here. Halfbacks going over to the Packers. I'm sure we'll talk about that tonight because he sure loves his halfbacks, and he's picked a lot, especially in Madden 18. He really went after it, and it looks like he's back there again. He's making those picks and getting them to work for him. I think I had this one. I think I had that one. Francis. Let's see if I got Francis. Just marking off my draft board here so I can actually know what I'm talking about. Good pick there for the Lions. It's interesting to see the Falcons go. Oh, sorry. Here we go. To see them go with linebackers. Yeah, we did get a little started late here. I was cleaning up from supper, having to help the family do some things. Got us off to about a 10 or 12 minute late start. But we're here, and I'm going to catch up this draft board. Looks like this is it. It looks like all the guys I was looking at are probably going to be gone. It's that's how drafts work out, right? Anytime you have your eyes on some players, they usually disappear pretty quickly. Just make a quick change real quick. I got things on several boards here. Do this. Let me go here. Yeah, this off season, of course, we had two, kind of surprising picks get into OMFL Bowl for 80, and it was a really good game. Kind of got away from the Patriots late, but the 49ers win their first OMFL Bowl here. and it put us into a pretty quick off season. The free agency was a little top heavy, not super deep. By the time we got to round 3, there really wasn't a whole lot of players that people were interested in, which means that the teams who did spend money probably had to spend a lot of money to be able to get the guys that they wanted. Trying to just mix my 2 spreadsheets here. I don't know if it's going to let me or not. I'm trying to mix 2 spreadsheets, and it's not wanting to work, and it's making for a terrible draft show. It looks like a lot of a big run here on offensive linemen. This is a pretty good offensive line draft, but also a little top heavy. And so it looks like if you went into this draft like I did, hoping to get your hands on a good offensive lineman, they're pretty much gone. A lot of quarterbacks are going off of the boards here early. It's a good draft for you to grab a quarterback. I have now frozen my draft board completely. I think I have ruined it. Dwayne wants to join me, and the answer is yes. Dwayne, I would like for you to join me after you finish eating. I don't have my stuff together here because real life took place, and now my draft board is frozen, and we are 8 minutes away from the real draft starting. I haven't even looked at a draft board, so I have no clue who I even want to draft. Yes, we are going to be stuck here on my pick until the real draft starts. I'm sorry, but I can't do everything, and this is where we are right now. Let's kind of go through some of these picks here. We'll go ahead and start. Start at number 1. Nope. I don't like how there isn't a draft board any longer. It sucks. So the Dolphins took quarterback Kerry Nilkolos, really good player, one of the biggest arms in this draft completely. I think everything is completely frozen here. All right, I gotta force quit everything. Sorry, guys. Followed up by the Patriots. I don't know who gave the Patriots a number 2 pick in the draft, but you should be let go from this league and never allowed to come back. Shame on you. I know it was Colin, but I'm just kind of picking a little tongue-in-cheek a little bit. But they come away with wide receiver Morris Atkins, a speedy wide receiver with pick number 2. The Browns take cornerback Dijon Gross, by far the fastest and best-looking prospect in the cornerback draft. He looks really great and should be a really, really good player for them. The Cardinals take left tackle Paul Foray. The Steelers followed that up with outside linebacker Curtis Turnbull. The Jets took right tackle London Norwood. The Redskins followed it up with left end DJ Hill. A lot of Redskins picks, a lot of Cowboys picks. There just seems to be a lot of guys who got a lot of really good picks. Let me go ahead. It seems like my draft board is unfrozen here. The Bills took cornerback Will Boyd. I think that there's a severe drop-off, though, after that number 1 cornerback Gross went off the board. The Packers took left end Banks Richard. The Bears took left end Henry Schaefer, and this is where we were stuck all day because the Bears have been missing for like 24 hours. We're actually a little worried about him, so hopefully Outlaw is doing okay. The Ravens took wide receiver Fisher Golden. The Cowboys took outside linebacker Tavon Graham. The Chiefs took defensive tackle Roy Orr. The Packers took halfback Craig Hartzell. I said that just a second ago. He loves his halfbacks. I knew he was going to go halfback. I would not be surprised if he drafts another 2 or 3 halfbacks before this one's over with. The Chargers take defensive tackle Jordan Gerald. The Jaguars take cornerback Marvin Blackson. The Redskins take left guard Francis Bryant. The Vikings take halfback Treylon. Yeah, I said it right the first time. Treylon Lloyd. Cowboys take their quarterback. I guess he's moving on from the guy that he has now, quarterback Jeremy Archer. They followed that right back up with the next pick, wide receiver Chance Francis. The Lions took left outside linebacker. I'm not even going to say it. Was it Garkar? I don't know. Hudson. Falcons take middle linebacker Harmon October. Jaguars take quarterback Hanson Watson, who I hear is a really good player. I did not see the player, but I hear that he came out really good. Right guard Chris LeBlanc went to the Packers, rebuilding that offensive line and that offensive backfield. The Steelers get right guard Malcolm Bana. The Texans take center Miles Mann, and then the Seahawks take right guard James Huddleston. So that kind of catches us up where we are. We're 4 minutes from the draft. This is what I'm going to do. Not much of a pre-draft show. I didn't really get to break it down. I will say that very, very heavy on wide receiver. You're probably going to see a lot of receivers go late in this draft that are going to be potential starters. I think a really good draft for offensive linemen, but very top-heavy, which means I think that they're going to disappear pretty quickly. On defense, you're already seeing it, a big run on defensive linemen. I think we've already seen 6 or 7 defensive linemen go off the board. Difference makers if you can find one to get after the quarterback. Surprisingly, I don't find it to be a deep outside linebacker draft, but you will see some run because guys are going to take those. They can't help themselves, right? They see a speedy outside linebacker, they're going to go after it. I see a really big second tier on the cornerback market here. I think the top tier was very heavy, very good. Pro Bowlers in Gross or Cross, whatever his name is, the one that the Browns took. But it drops off significantly after that. But I think that there is a deep second tier market there, especially like the nickel, the dime cornerback, and a couple of playmaking safeties. Who knows if safeties are just such a weird position and a place, and you just never know what you're going to get. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to just pause myself really quick. We're going to take just a quick 2-minute break before the draft starts here. We'll leave the screen up. Just going to mute myself really quick, look at my draft board, get my head on straight, make my pick, and then start the draft. See you in a second. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. I had a second to kind of look at everything. Good thing. So here we go. The OMFL draft is underway. And I'm going to take a quick look at my stuff here to see who I'm taking. There we go. My first pick is in. I kind of talked myself in and out of this player. I took Leighton Fitzgerald, 6 foot, 174, deep threat out of Stanford. Let's see if we can get some ratings on this guy real quick. Gave me a good pick, 93 speed, 95 acceleration, 72 catch, 79 catch in traffic. I like 79 route running, medium route 86, short 79. I like those. 83 release. 73 spectacular catch. I almost went with the other guy. He's ranked number 1 in true overall talent, and I got him at number 28. So it's a good pick for me. Let me just turn this down, because that is super duper loud, and I hate that we cannot see what's going on here. Like that's the worst. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be hard to keep up with these picks. It's actually going to be impossible. The only way to do it is to look at this ugly thing over here, which is going to be hard to keep up on. But yeah, again, I think that this is a pretty heavy wide receiver draft. I think that there's just a lot of really good receivers that'll go here later. I was also looking at Sherman Redmond, who I think is going to be a really, really good player. Has a lot of really big intangibles. The reason I really like Sherman is because he could block better than Fitzgerald. I'm interested to see what the Falcons do here. I mean, they picked up a lot of big-time picks and did really good. Cedric Robinson, wide receiver. Let's see where Mr. Cedric. 6 foot receiver out of Wisconsin. Deep threat guy. Pretty good release guy that can get off of the blocks. He ran a 4.3 540. He did 12 in the bench press, so probably a slot guy. A big receiver that should be able to step in. You know, at 6 foot, he's not tremendously big, but he could start if he needs to. Be a good slot player for them, and definitely is going to add a lot of speed. I mean, he ran a 4.3 540, so you're probably going to expect his speed to be, 95 plus, somewhere in that range. So yeah, good pick for the Falcons as they are continuing to kind of reload themselves. And it sounds like we got Mr. Dwayne with me. How you doing, Dwayne? Mr. Wayne? I guess Mr. Wayne is with us, but not with us. And hopefully he'll come join us. Wayne, can you hear us? Bennett Banks, cornerback, goes over to the Falcons. Let's see what we got on Mr. Bennett. My computer is going to be wanting to shut down on me. It's running so hot right now. 6'2" receiver or cornerback out of Notre Dame. Ran a 4.5 40. Probably more of a press man coverage guy, but he should do everything pretty well for them. John Brait, I should say, goes over to the Patriots. This was another guy I was looking at getting, but I just don't like investing in the quarterbacks. I feel like I've got one, but a scrambler out of Florida State, a big arm guy who can throw on the run, ran a 4.68 40, did a 4.29 in the shuttle, a 7.14 in the 3-cone. So a good pick for the Patriots, a team that's going to just continue to retool after already being in the Super Bowl. Dwayne, are you with me, buddy? Let's see.
I'm here.
Oh, now we got him. Mr. Wayne, how you doing today, buddy?
Man, it's all good. I had to eat me some dinner, or I'd have got beat up on that one.
Don't worry, I feel your pain. I too. That's why we got started a little late. I had to get some dinner in me, but we just had a couple of players go off the board here. Speedy receiver to the Falcons, a pretty speedy receiver to the Saints, then a good cornerback over to the Falcons, and a good scrambling quarterback over to the Patriots. And then it looks like the Jaguars just took strong safety Antoine Benison. Let me see what I can get on Mr. Beeson. The best rated safety in the class, 6'1", 224 out of Texas A&M. More of a thumper, a guy that's going to be in the box, is going to be able to tackle really well. A guy that you'll love because he can really bring the pain when he hits people. And he ran a 4.7 440, but he did 24 in the bench press. So it's just really, really good.
Yeah, that's my kind of guy right there. I actually had him really high on my board, knowing he would never get to me. He just intrigued me. The only negative to him, if you even want to call it a negative, is his age at 23. Which like I said, 23 is not a horrible age, and everything else makes up for it. He'll probably start day one and make an impact against me for many years to come.
What do you think about this draft, just kind of overall? What do you feel like is the deep spots in this draft and the spots that that players can find some good depth at?
Well, I think it's been an interesting draft for sure. Some surprises. When I say surprises, just some of the, I guess you'd say, unique talents that came out, and I think that's a good thing. I think this has probably been the most, I'm gonna say anticipated draft, but it's sure been. I guess that's what I'm looking for, is anticipated draft. A lot of guys have been really hyped about this draft.
Mm-hmm.
They're really excited, especially with the way we went about it this year. And I think it's been a success so far. I think guys have gotten some impact players, areas in the draft where you're supposed to get impact players at. I do think that you've seen some really solid receivers come off the board, though. Some real solid ones. Especially on some of these teams, you look like the Falcons picking a speedy guy, somebody who might just be one piece away from having he already had a dynamic offense who can just take it to another level. I think we looked at the Cowboys getting their star quarterback. I mean, you're talking about a guy, if I'm not mistaken, they say star development. I think he was 80 overall, had some really good stats. I didn't get to see all the stats on him, but you're talking about a guy who can step in day one and be almost as good as the quarterback he had last year, just on like I said, a team-controlled 4-year contract. I think it's been a great draft so far. And I think a lot of these guys would agree after seeing some of these players come through. They're really excited, and I think that most of these guys have really enjoyed the players that have came through so far.
Yeah, the guy with the greatest name in the draft, Tremont DeGraff-Freed, got drafted strong safety over to the Seattle Seahawks, 6'3" out of Illinois. Another run support thumper, a guy that's going to tackle really well, hit power, just can do it all, but does it at 4.58. 40, so he's got lots of speed. Just that team continues to add to what they already have. I just don't understand how people continue to feed such a really good player in Mo and then give him these picks because he sure is racking up on him. And the guy that I really was interested in, Sherman Redmond, goes over to the Cleveland Browns, who are in desperate need of some playmakers on that offense. It's 6'1", 220. He's 23 years old, out of Ole Miss. More of a catch possession guy, but did run a 4.45 40. I love that he did 22 in the bench press, so he's going to be a big, strong guy that can probably run block pretty well. And it looks like some posts now. I'm not always going to be able to see these, and I'll probably lean on you to kind of read some of these. But yeah, it looks like this Tremaine guy who went the strong safety over to Mo, 86 speed, 81 tackle, 84, is that power? Hit power, yeah. So really big guy.
Yeah, he's really solid. I think he'll fit well in with that, that kind of that really tough defense that Mo runs over there. You would like to see him a little bit quicker, 86 speed, 84 acceleration, but if I'm not mistaken, he's probably built to be a more, like I guess you'd say the in the box safety, or just helping in the run game. But I think Mo, if we all know Mo will turn him into something very, very solid.
Looks like we got Mr. Dawson with us. Mr. Dawson, how's it going, buddy? I know he's in here. Well, it looks like, and I hate that Madden is taking away this draft board, so I can't actually see. And if I miss picks, I'm just going to be able to miss picks. But I think Vaughn Cook just got drafted out of Auburn. I already forgot who he went to, but 6'2" possession type guy that ran a 4.53 40. So a big guy that can make some nice route runs. And then a halfback here went over to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is interesting. I'm not sure if he paid or didn't pay his guy, but Newark, Dante Newark, 73 overall halfback out of Washington, 5'11", 233, so a little bit of a bowling ball. Ran a 4.53 40, but did 30 in the bench press. That's better than over 3/4 of the offensive linemen in this draft.
Yeah, Cook went to the Cardinals.
That's what it was.
And you said Newkirk. Steelers. I'm not sure. He traded Bell this last season, but if I'm not mistaken,
right.
He still had that. Is it Connor? If I'm not mistaken, he still had him. He ran well, but like I said, Newkirk, yeah, he looks like a really solid player. You're talking about a power back. He's built 5'11", 233 pounds. He's short, or say short, but he is shorter, stouter. He runs a 4.5. He's not just normally. I would love to see the screenshot on that one, but that looks like my kind of. There it is, right there. No, it's not. That's
Vaughn Cook. Yeah, it looks like 88 speed for Mr. Cook, but he's a big guy. Gordon Gill, left tackle out of Louisville, 78 overall, goes over to the Seattle Seahawks. 6'7", a monster of a man, 307, 22 years old, ran a 4.97 40 as a left tackle and did 35 on the bench press. This was a guy that I looked at briefly. I stayed away just because I think that there were going to be some weak areas in his game, and I was too nervous to do that in the first round. But here in the second round, the Seahawks are wrapping up on some really good picks already.
Well, Gill was 90 strength, 73 run block, 79 pass block. He does have some work, on the 69 power block, run power block. But he's got, like I said, he ain't showed. I know you were talking about his quickness. He doesn't have his quickness up there, but he has 76 awareness. And he's just a plug-and-play guy. Mo will put him on that line, and he'll probably start day one. And the Steelers posted their running back. He's 86 speed, 88 acceleration, 86 trucking, 86 carry, 83 strength, 78 break tackle. That's just a solid back if he's going to go with Connor. You can't go wrong. You can't, honestly. You need to have somebody that you can hand the ball to and get 2 or 3 yards. Just lean forward and use that muscle. And I think that's a good pickup for the Steelers.
Man, we are already in pick number 8 here in round number 2. What's going to happen, though, is as we kind of get to these later rounds and have a bunch of skip picks in a row and have a bunch of guys who are just, waiting to make their pick, really quickly, we're going to lose track of who's going where. And without the draft board, it's going to make it really, really difficult unless, Dawson or somebody comes on and they can have just the transactions up and can kind of help us keep up with the draft board that way. But we'll keep up with it as much as we can as part of Madden doing their changes. I do love the look, but I would have much rathered functionality over look. It looks really cool, but
it does.
In a 32-man league, it's not functionable.
No.
But the Buffalo Bills are up here in pick number 8 in round 2. Then we have the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Eagles, the Raiders, the Chiefs again, and the Rams here early in round number 2. And it's really shocking, though, to see teams like the Seahawks, the Patriots, the Falcons, right, to have all of these high picks. I don't keep up with trades. It's that's your position here, and you kind of keep up on them. But have guys been moving a lot of star players to get these picks, or are they just getting some really good deals?
Honestly, like I said, I don't think the Seahawks, they have one first rounder this year. I don't think they have more than one. But I know he's picked up some second and third round picks. I think with the way the new trade calculator it has made it harder for guys. And I say this when we have 2 guys with 3 first round picks. But it has made it harder for especially older superstar players. You can't just switch them for a first rounder anymore. It's not as easy. And with the way you implemented this new trade, the new trade adjustments with the 10% and no trade pieces can't be involved, I think you're going to see a lot less of it. I think guys started running into that after we put the new trade rules in. I think you're going to see a lot less excessive trading per se. I think it's going to skim it down a lot, and I think you're going to have a lot more equal playing field because you look at somebody like the Seahawks, or I can speak from example of the Falcons. He got my first round pick this year for Keanu Neal. I don't look back, and I will never regret that trade. But you look at somebody like that, teams that are stacked like that, they have expendable players, good expendable players that they can get picks for. And some of these teams that come out of the box aren't very good. I hate to say, you just kind of catch them in a catch-22 where they need players and they're just willing to sacrifice, a year or two down the line to get that impact now.
And it's also just about pure draft luck and how much work that you do, because I know like the Seahawks, right? They take a second tier, what I would consider a red chipper offensive line is a 78 overall. The Bills take a second tier red chipper center, he's 71 overall, right? We're talking just a handful of picks separated, but a big, massive overall difference. It just seems like some guys have the secret juice, man. They're just able to figure it out and get the right guys on their team. And for some of us, most of us, it doesn't work out as nicely. Kendrick Spence, strong safety, goes over to the Patriots here. Joseph McCain right before him. So 2 strong safeties off the board. And I don't know if anybody's posting any photos, but it looks like there's a run on safeties that I didn't expect to see here.
Yeah, you're right, guys. I think they've seen towards the end of this last season, I've seen a lot of complaints about drops towards the end, but I think that having that safety back there that can lay the wood on somebody, it really makes a difference. Like it should, to an extent that if you get hit by somebody who's a headhunter back there, there's a good chance to be knocked loose. And I think a lot of teams looked at that, and a lot of teams said, well, maybe we need to sacrifice a little bit of coverage and get the linebacker at safety, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of teams looked at it. You look at the Seahawks did. Seahawks have always had a head-knocking team. And that last team that picked, who was it? Who got that safety? Was it the Eagles? I
missed it. Yeah, I don't remember.
Did he? See,
he just take Cooper Sam, and it just shows you like 81 overall guy here in the second round. These receivers are stacked. A 6'5" guy ran a 4.57. He's not going to be a super speedster out of Oklahoma. He's going to be a big playmaker. 81 overall. It's going to be a good guy for the Eagles.
Yeah, he posted 87 speed, 84 acceleration. Not fast, but he's got 93 short route, 89 medium route, 85 catching traffic.
He's going to get open. I had Thomas who had 88 speed, and he still got open.
I mean, you look at somebody like him, honestly, he's more of the Cooper Kupp, Riley Cooper build. He's a tall guy. He's not going to just burn you down the field, but he's going to find a place. He's going to get open. He's going to sit down in his zone coverage and make you some catches.
Looks like the Raiders can't get out of their own way with this speed thing. They take tight end Nathan Jensen, a 6'4" kid out of Missouri, super fast, ran a 4.89 40. Should be able to catch pretty well, but can't block to save his life. So that's going to be a downfall for this kid. But look, I'm not super impressed with any of the cornerbacks coming out of this draft. I mean, not cornerbacks, the tight ends coming out of this draft. But I definitely think you could have waited and got that kid in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. We got the Rams on the clock at pick 14, then the Chargers, the Giants, the Redskins, the Seahawks again, the Titans, the Bucks, and the Lions.
I do like seeing, I think it was, who was it that picked that? I'll pull it up real fast. Who picked Carroll Easy? The Chiefs did. They picked him, like I said, I think it was 13th pick in the second round. He was projected first-round pick. I'm really shocked he fell as far as he did. That just might, show that the guys didn't need I guess cornerback wasn't a big need for guys. They showed him he's 89 speed, 87 acceleration. He's 79 man, 84 zone. Man, it's just a solid guy, solid cornerback, 77 overall. And to me, that's a good pickup early in the second round. That's a very good quality pick by Shocks fan.
Yep.
Is he picking tonight or is he Simmons?
I honestly, I don't know. He didn't answer me earlier, so
okay.
I don't know if my assumption is he's Simmons.
Well,
if you can also keep me up with who we need to skip.
he posted in the chat. I feel like an idiot when I say that. He posted the pick in the chat. So y'all can laugh at me for asking if he was here or not.
Ben Frederick, left tackle out of Georgia, 76 overall, goes over to the Chargers. A big pass blocker, 318, 6'6", only 21 years old, so he's going to be around a long time for the Chargers. He did 35 in the bench press. It goes to show you again the Seahawks took Gordon Gill early in the second round, who was rated lower than Fredericks and got a better player. I think he was rated 81 overall. And
Right,
here Ben Franklin comes, or Frederick, I should say, comes 76 overall to the Chargers later in the second round. There's a little luck involved and a lot of homework.
Frederick does have some solid. He's 90 strength. He's 76 run block, 79 pass block. I can't hardly see it. It's kind of just a little bit fuzzy. But he has 6 of his 10 traits are green. The rest of them are 72 to 75. He's a really solid pick. Like I said, he's not as good as the Seahawks was a few picks before. But man, that's nothing to look down. That's a really good pick. Smash did his homework on that guy. It was a very, very solid pick.
Howard Triplett going over to the New York Giants, 76 overall. Left tackle out of Illinois, so a little run on left tackles here. 314, 6'5", more of a pass protector than anything. A little bit of a nice three-cone and shuttle, so he can get out there with some acceleration. Did 30 in the pass block, so pretty good for him.
Which one was that? The Triplett?
Yeah, Triplett.
I sent Ram sent me a picture of Julius Starling, who they picked before Frederick, and he was 87 strength, 78 run block, 78 pass, 78 power run blocking. He's just a solid guy. 81 lead block, 82 run block. You're talking about a solid guy. You can put that left or right guard, or you can even squeeze him to center, and I think that he would be a perfect fit for a Rams team that I really expect to break out this season.
Our buddy and show co-host, Mr. Dawson, dips way down deep into the college ranks into Mount Union and takes wide receiver Lee Klein, 76 overall. He ran a 4.42 40 at the combine. A big kid, 6'4", 223, so he's going to have some speed and some size. What I love about him, 24 in the bench press, he's going to be able to block.
Yeah, Dawson posted a picture of him, and honestly, I haven't quite figured out the speed and acceleration yet, but he's 91 speed, 88 acceleration. He's 87 short route, 84 medium route. He's 89 agility, 81 jump. That's a solid receiver for Dawson, who, deceptively had a really good offense last year. He'll even admit that he turned the ball over a little bit too much, but picking up a playmaker like this will make life easy on the new Redskins quarterback, Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I think that was had to be a tough trade for him, being a Packers fan in real life with the Redskins and now with a Dallas Cowboys quarterback. But Denard Berry, cornerback out of UAB, 74 overall, goes to the Seattle Seahawks. Ran a 4.42 40, 6 foot even, 183 pounds, 22 years old. What I like about him are the intangibles. That 20 on the bench press means he's going to be stronger at the point of attack. He could start at 6 foot. He'll have plenty of size. 4.42. He should have plenty of speed to keep up with some of the best receivers. Don't love his three-cone, but I do love his shuttle at a 4.28. He ran a 7.08 on the three-cone, which is a little slow. And so his agility and his acceleration are probably not going to be all that great. But Denard Berry has a new home here in the second round over to the Seattle Seahawks. And he tends to be building up this defense a little bit.
Well, you called it. I'm going to start calling you Brian Broaddus for the Cowboys. 93 speed, 86 acceleration, 85 agility. You called it. He's fast, but his quickness does leave a little bit to be desired. He has 78 press. He is an 80 at man coverage. He is a man coverage guy. So I think he's a solid guy. He's a guy Mo can put in there. Probably won't be a top 2 cornerback if I could be wrong. I think he'll be a slot guy. If anything, he's somebody that Mo will turn into a monster if we had to take a guess.
Now this one's interesting to me. Pick 19 here in the second round. The Tennessee Titans go Jonathan Haney, 70 overall quarterback out of Colorado. A strong arm kid, big, looks the part, right? 6'5", 236, 21 years old, which is promising. He can have this kid for a little bit to work on, but I think he's definitely going to need some work. He ran a 5.24 40, so think like a Big Ben type clone. Not going to have a big, powerful arm. I'd say 87 to 89, maybe 90. If he breaks 90, he'll be okay. I love his medium accuracy. He throws those crosses really, really well. Those comeback routes really, really well. Struggles with his accuracy, though, short and really does struggle deep. I think he's going to have a hard time reading OMFL defenses. And it's just a head scratcher of why they went quarterback here. Because unless something's changed, and maybe it has, but he still has Mariota.
Well, I know we've heard Bill jokingly and non-jokingly. I never can tell about Bill the mobster, but he's joked about moving Mariota on and off throughout the season, just kind of test the waters. If I had to take a guess from Bill, but the quarterback was solid. He's 88 throw power, which you, like I said, once again you called that 88 throw power, 78.6 deep accuracy, 83 middle accuracy, 82 short accuracy.
That's not bad. That one's not bad.
He's not bad. He is 70 overall. He's got some things to work with. I don't see his awareness and stuff like that. Well, I do see his awareness. Awareness is 72. 66 break back. I figure just by looking at his stats, I don't see his speed and stuff. I look at him almost as a Ryan Mallett mold, somebody that can sit in the pocket. He's a big guy, sits in the pocket, does have a strong arm, but he's just not going to be very mobile. He would be going the exact opposite direction of where he's at right now with a very mobile Marcus Mariota. But like I said, hey, if he's looking at some point to move Mariota, who could be a good piece, this isn't, I mean, I'm kind of with you. I think this is a little early to reach on that quarterback. But, hey, I don't second-guess Bill on a lot of things because Bill runs a very tight, organized ship in Tennessee. We'll see how it goes.
Kevin Best, 76 overall, wide receiver out of Virginia Tech, goes over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a big kid, 6'3", 238, a possession guy out of Virginia Tech. Ran a 4.47 40. I love his shuttle, though, and I love that he did 22 on the bench press. It fits that mold of receiver that they already have there in Tampa, and just reloads with another young kid that can come in and snatch passes out of the air. Right now we have the Lions at pick 21, Raiders at 22, Giants at 23, Bengals back-to-back at 24-25, then Texans back-to-back at 26-27. And that's going to get us really close to the end of the second round. And what are we, 30 minutes deep? So not too bad of a first round here.
I was trying to look up that Kevin Best. I know Maniac is not getting the draft tonight. That dude, he is a big guy. He'll be a really good complement receiver to go with Evans. He's 6'3", what did you say, 240?
235.
He's a big, solid guy. So he runs a 4.47. But I see the Lions just picked Derek King. 6'4", 220 pounds. He was projected to be a middle first-round pick, 22 years old. A- on special catch, B- on catch. He ran a 4.62, but he did almost have a 39-inch vertical. This is a big-body guy that DBO can use. And that spectacular catch, man, it's kind of like a Megatron clone. I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see the profile on this guy.
Yeah, I think he's going to be dirt slow, right? And I think because of that, he's going to need to maybe even think about moving him to tight end if he's big enough, right? He seems to have the size. If his speed is low enough, move him over to tight end. A.C. Harvey, middle linebacker, goes over to the Oakland Raiders. Only a 69 overall kid out of Illinois State. More like a field general. He was just one of those really great players in college. Ran a 4.82 40 though, so that's really slow. Did 23 in the bench press, but has a really nice 3-cone and shuttle, so he should have some nice agility and quickness. But A.C. Harvey has a new home here with the Oakland Raiders, and they kind of went opposite of what they've been going. They didn't go speed here in their middle linebacker. I do think it's a little bit of a reach, but he's trying to reload with some playmakers and some guys that can come in and make some plays for him. I wonder, I just wonder why not go after outside linebacker or something like that, where you could move him to middle linebacker instead of just going pure middle linebacker if that's what you needed.
No, I'm with you on that one. I think he reached just a little bit, and I hate to say that about anybody, but he was projected middle of the fourth round. He's 6'2", 250. He's a solid run-stopping guy, but kind of like you said, he limits himself what he can do. That guy is not playing on the outside unless you're just blitzing him from the outside. He's not going to be much of a man in coverage. You ran a 4.82. So I'm kind of like you. It kind of puzzles me just a little bit because I'm kind of like you. I think that you could have got somebody a little more versatile that could have played all three positions. But he's a great owner, and he does usually have a very sharp, strong linebacker corps. So I won't second guess him too much. 00 posted a picture of this Derek King in the chat. He's 84 speed, 90 acceleration, 82 catching, 79 short route, 78 medium, 73 deep. But this is where it gets me. He's 92 spectacular catch, 81 release, 90 agility, and 92 jumping.
Nice.
I think this is a great pick for 00.
What was his speed again?
His speed was only 84. But his acceleration is 90, and I think he's a big body. He's probably not Megatron.
I'm moving him to tight end.
He would be a very solid. I haven't seen any blocking stats on him, but if you were looking for like an Eric Ebron type of guy, he's a clone.
He did 22 in the bench press, so he's going to be pretty decent up there, probably high 70s, mid 70s. It's plenty enough for a starting tight end.
He's superstar development.
Yeah. And he's going to catch everything. He's going to get off of blocks. Like, that could be a monster tight end. Left guard Philip Ingersoll from Arizona went to the New York Giants. They continue to invest in that offensive line. That's where I wanted to go also. I think there's a lot of value there. But, man, all of it went early, and now guys are having to reach a little bit. 73 overall, 6'5", 306. More of a pass protector than anything. Really good footwork, though. He did 24 on the bench press, so that's kind of the worry. He's going to have to be like a finesse guy with really good footwork, but a little dangerous to have a guy that weak there right in the center of your offensive line.
Yeah, I agree. You run into some of these, just like he just traded away, huge, strong defensive tackle. If I use it as an example. You have some of these. As a Cowboys guy, Connor Williams is a very finesse blocker, somebody who gets overpowered sometimes really easy if he don't get his footwork right. And that's exactly what you run into with that guy right there. If he runs into a Dontari Poe or somebody like that, or a Quan Short, who is just a bull rush type defensive tackle, he can wreak havoc on the backfield if that guy doesn't have his footwork right. I see the Bengals picked right outside linebacker Xavier Poyer.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty solid, 6'3", 240.
Yep.
He is 24 years old. He's a speed rusher type. He runs a 4.65. Had 26 in the bench press. He looks like a solid guy.
Yep.
He's another one. I still think, I don't know about his coverages. I haven't got to see a picture of him yet. But he does look like a good, solid linebacker.
That's the pick you make if you're the Raiders.
Right, exactly.
You move him to middle linebacker if that's what you're needing. But that's a better pick than reaching on a guy that ran a 4.8 240. Look, speed is what it is, right? Some guys hate it, but watch the NFL, watch the college game. The reason Alabamas and teams like that are so good is because they have the fastest players. You can't teach speed. You can't train speed. It opens up doors and gives you opportunity. You can't draft a 4.8 2 middle linebacker in the second round. You can draft that guy in the fourth round. In the fifth round, you could take a flyer on him. Second round, it's too important.
I was just to say, I don't think he must not be here. I don't think since he's here tonight, so I know he's got a pick coming up. We can skip him on his next pick too.
Okay.
I'm with you on that one. As a guy, I am hard-headed and I'm stuck in my ways. I love hard-hitting, run-stopping linebackers, but the league's changing. Everything's changing. Everything is leaning towards speed. It's more of a wide-open game. You really limit yourself when you get a 4'9" linebacker. He just can't. He's stuck at that one position. He's not going to be able to cover anybody. And you just leave yourself susceptible to get matched up with a tight end. We were talking about this 90 speed and just go run off and break a game wide open.
See if you can get me, or if anybody can get me, some of these last few picks, because they were computer picks, and so they went really fast, and I just missed them.
I can. Here you go. You got the second pick was the Bengals. Middle linebacker Morgan Glenn was the Bengals, the 25th pick in the second round.
Morgan Glenn, that's the one I was trying to find.
And you got the Texans last two.
I got Montgomery. Who was the other?
Okay, cornerback Derek Curse.
Oh yeah, I was able to get that. So let me go ahead and skip this pick. So it's going to bring up the Falcons. the Jets, the Patriots, the 49ers, your OMFL Bowl winners, the Dolphins, the Lions, and the Browns. So we're starting to break some of these picks up, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I like this. I like this pick by. I know it's the computer did it for Cincy.
I think he set up his draft board because the way it looks like he set up his draft board.
This guy right here he's a very undersized defensive end. He's 6'1", 245. He had a 4.8 140.
That's scary though, unless you're running a 3.4.
That's exactly right, and I could be mistaken. I don't think since he runs a 3.4, that's a 3.4.
But even at a 3.4, he did 17 on the bench press. That's not a good pick.
No, he's a situational. I guess you say a situational blitzer. He's a third down outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense. If anybody can work something out of it, since he might work out of it, and might shape him into something. I do like who's this pick right here?
Lucas Bourne. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, if you're gonna take an undersized guy like they did, 6'1", 240 out of Clemson, at least he ran a 4.77 40, and at least he did 23 on the bench press,
exactly right.
Not 17. More of a finesse guy, right? Because he's undersized, that's what's gonna happen. But a much better pick. All right, I missed that Jets pick.
Yeah,
it was a halfback. Let me go ahead and I can talk about this one right here. Gilbert Arnault from UL Lafayette, a place that's near my hometown. 6'1", 24 years old, 232, ran a 4.6 240, did 20 on the bench press. Kind of an all-around guy. He's going to do better in pass coverage. Probably going to be like a nickel or a dime guy if you've got to bring him in for a pass rush situation or maybe like a zone blitz situation, but definitely going to be a player that's going to need some work. Were you able to get that halfback?
Yes, Jarman Livings. He was a projected 6th-round pick. He's 6'1", 209. He is 21 years old. He's B+ spin move. He's B elusiveness. He's B on the carry. But what sells him out right here is he's a 4.48 40 and a 6.89. If it was at the 3-cone shuttle, I can only imagine that he's fast and he's picking a third down back. Because other than that, he looks like a solid running back. But picking 2nd round, he's picking for speed there. And,
my hope is that he's got good hands and he's a like a Camara type clone, right? He's going to have that 88 to 91 speed, like somewhere in that low range there. He's not going to be a burner, but he's not going to be super slow guy. He'll probably have like decent strength, not great, but hopefully for the Patriots, he's got good hands and he'll be able to catch the ball coming out of the backfield. Brings up the 49ers, who are running out of time here, the Miami Dolphins, the Lions, the Browns, the Cardinals, the Steelers, the Jets. And we are right now, we are into the 3rd round. Pick number 1 in the 3rd round, the Miami Dolphins, as the San Francisco 49ers go Austin James, middle linebacker out of FAU. Rated to go in the 4th round, so a little bit of a reach here. 245, 6'1", a big kid. Again, though, ran a 4.8 440. At least, though, he did 28 on the bench press. So he'll be a big, strong guy. Kind of think like a Kraus, right? Like a guy with the Jaguars. Not like a super burner, but very strong and can make plays.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. If you're going to go with a slower linebacker, it does help that he has that punch and that strength. It adds a little bit. Like I said, he can be a 1 or 2 down back, a linebacker. Like I said, but that 3rd down, man, it's still hard to compensate for that speed right there. Like I said, it kind of limits him on not being a 30 down linebacker. But it was a solid. I thought it was a solid pick. And like I said, it just depends what you're going for on defense. If some guys like speedy guys, and maybe since he's building, he's seen how the run games were last year. Maybe he's building, try to stuff the run a little bit.
Mack Weldon, right tackle, first pick of the 3rd round, 71 overall, goes over to the Miami Dolphins. 6'6", 330. So just a big, powerful right tackle there to open up running lanes. I really like this kid. He can do a little bit of everything. Plus he did 30 in the bench press. 5'2", 140 means he's not going to be super duper slow. Should be able to, if he's got to get out on strings, he should be able to do screens fairly well. Don't love his overall at 71. It does go to show you that he's going to need some work, but you have a good basis to start with. Not a bad pick here in the third round. Like, you start getting the third, fourth rounds, now you can start taking those flyers. Lions are starting to run out of time. I thought that 00 was around. It looks like he barely got his pick in. He went Ray Vickers, wide receiver out of LSU. Go Tigers. Let me see what I can find of Mr. Vickers.
Livings did get a post up in the main chat. 91 speed, 90 acceleration, 89 agility, 84 carrying. He don't have any, receiving status here. It's a solid pick. I thought he would be faster than that. But that's still, I'll give him that. He's 76 overall. It's a solid pick. I will give him that. Even if I thought he would be 92, 93 speed when it said 4.48. But that's a solid pick.
That's where I kind of expected him to be. Ray Vickers, 6'2" guy out of LSU, 226, can do it all, make the spectacular catches, keep the ball in traffic. Only ran a 4.67 40 at the combine, which is a little low. Did do 18 on the bench press, so not a terrible bench press from him. Decent pick there for the Lions. Maybe not like that, intriguing, like superstar guy that they were hoping, but a good pick. C.J. Day, middle linebacker out of Northwestern State, goes over to the Cleveland Browns, 71 overall, 245 pounds, 22 years of age, 5'11", big, powerful run stopper, can get off of blocks, ran a 4.64 40, so he shouldn't be stupid slow. Probably, 82 would be my guess. 22 on the bench press, so he should be strong enough to make plays. And if anything, the Cleveland Browns and Chaotix knows how to pick linebackers, and he built some of the most powerful, greatest linebackers this league has ever seen in Madden 18.
Yeah, I like him. That's like a Zach Thomas copy right there, 5'11", 245. He is faster. I do like 4.6. I think that he can keep up most running backs and tight ends at least long enough for the pressure to get there. I think that's a solid pick. We can never look down on Chaotix defense. He's probably one of the best defensive coaches here. And he always finds a way to plug these guys in. He don't really waste many picks. There's a plan. There's a method to his madness, I guess you'd say, when K does moves here.
Gordon Pestock goes over to the Cardinals as they try to reload, 69 overall, and I'm afraid that's what you're going to start seeing. You're going to get some potential in these offensive linemen that are left, but you're going to see some low overalls. A center out of California, 6'5", 300 pounds, a pass protector, did 4.86 in the 40, so he's pretty agile, but only 23 in the bench press. That's going to hurt him just a little bit. I missed that free safety. I think it's Shivers. I missed the next one too.
It's Shivers, and then the Jets picked Keyshawn Gideon, left end.
What was the pick right before Gideon?
Shivers.
I think there was a pick in between there. So Willis Shivers out of Toledo. 6-foot guy, 207, ran a 4.5 140, kind of a hybrid type safety, 23 in the bench press. He should be pretty powerful. Cedric Ward goes over to the Washington Redskins, 6'3", 23 years old, 242 pounds, a big guy, ran a 4.65 40, more of a pass coverage type player, can get his hands on the ball, but strong enough to play in this league at 22 on the bench press. He should be a good player for them. To go to this, did I not miss anybody?
No, okay. That was just the two players right there.
Keyshawn Gideon out of Maine, 6'5", 285, more of a power rusher, somebody that like a 3-4 type player, a defensive end in a 3-4, ran a 4.96 40, but did 28 on the bench press. A good player there.
Yeah, Ward was solid for the Redskins. 83 speed, 84 acceleration, 81 pursuit. Really gets me with him. He's 84 zone coverage.
Nice.
That's really good. And that's really nice for that Redskins defense. He's going to need it because that NFC East is reloaded and reloaded and reloaded this offseason.
Nevin Ingram, defensive tackle out of USC, 71 overall, goes to the Buffalo Bills. 294 of a speed rusher at USC, 6'5". He's able to get off of blocks. He did run a 4.83 40 for a almost 300-pound man. That's pretty good. 26 on the bench press. Maybe like a rush defensive end in a 3-4, or maybe a second defensive tackle. Excuse me, a second defensive tackle in a 4-3. Somebody that can get after the quarterback. Definitely a guy that can come in nickel dime and make some plays.
You got Willis Green going to the Rams.
Yeah, more receivers that will continue to come off of the board here. What do you have on Green, wide receiver out of Illinois?
Let me pull it up real quick. None has been posted in the chat yet.
Well, go ahead. I'll do this one. 76 overall, 6-foot guy, 199, Northern Illinois. Kind of a slot type receiver. Ran a 4.45 40. Did 30.6 in the shuttle, 7 in the 3-cone. Did 12 on the bench press. So a slot guy. Going to definitely come in and try to slot right in there for a very talented this Los Angeles Rams team that they have talent from the top of the roster to the bottom, and I really think this could be the year that he puts it all together. Now we're on the Chicago Bears. Did anyone ever hear from Outlaw?
We have not heard from Outlaw.
It's a little worried about our buddy who's usually around. I'm going to go ahead and skip his pick. It's a little concerning.
Jeremiah Basher. Monroe.
That's over in my neck of the woods. Not really, but not far from here. ULM, a 6-foot guy, 201, 22 years old, so Outlaw's going to love that. Ran a 4.63 40, did 19 on the bench press. Kind of a zone-type player when he was at UL Monroe. Should be a decent player for him. He's going to need some work. But that Chicago Bears defense was very, very stout this past year. He was able to make plays from the start of the season that really kept him in it until probably like week 9 or 10 when kind of the wheels started to come off a little bit. But don't be surprised if he rebuilds this team pretty quickly. He's really learned how to draft well over the last few years. I know he's missing tonight, but hopefully he'll be able to make this pick. I keep forgetting that I can skip the Ravens.
Willis Green got posted from the Rams. He's 92 speed, 90 excel, 83 catching traffic, and what I really like is 92 short route. You call these a slot receiver. He'll jump in there. Now I think the Rams are almost running into now. I know he traded for Cup this offseason, so maybe he's trying to look to replace that, that number 3 receiver, that short to medium route guy, plays the middle of the field, and I think he got a solid one there.
Left tackle Mike McGee out of UCF goes over to the Baltimore Ravens, who's not around tonight. 6'5", 305, 22 years old. So he'll be around for a nice long time. An agile guy that's got nice speed, a 4.88 40, good agility, ran an amazing 3-cone, and did 27 in the bench press. Won't be the strongest guy, but a good player. I like that pick.
Left tackle J.T. Woods.
I'm going to let you talk about this one because I know he'll post. This is our buddy Dawson, who was in the chat a little earlier and then muted himself.
Can't believe Dawson let this Arkansas running back get by him.
Mr. Dawson is back. Dawson, go ahead and get ready to talk about your guy, too.
All right. Yeah, so he's overall 75. It's uploading right now. At this point, I'm just trying to get lucky and trying to find those, I guess, hidden gems. And if anything, just use as practice squad fillers. This one, JT Woods, 89 strength, 84 run block. Yeah, in the high 70s in the pass block. Awareness is 73. Impact blocking is already at 80. And stamina is 96. Not sure if that means anything for lineman anymore. He's 6'8", 320, 21 years old, out of FAU. I got him he's got a left tackle, so I might have to push him out, push him inside, just because he's more of a power lineman. So yeah, I'll probably push him inside. Not sure entirely on that, but yeah, to me, I feel like it's a more or less a solid pick. No, and this late into the draft.
Yeah, the Packers, it looks like two Arkansas boys come right off the board here, but the Packers begin to rebuild that offensive line. They're really investing into the running back again. So he's going back to what brought him success, that powerful offensive line, really good run back, control the clock, score a lot of points, stretch Rodgers' career out a little bit better, and then just hope and pray your defense doesn't completely shit the bed.
You got the Chargers picking Derek Gray from Yale at strong safety. I haven't seen a post on him yet. He is 23 years old. No stats are just really, man coverage is a C+, tackles a C+, pursuits a C+, but he is a 4.47 40. He is a 25 strength, and I see that it just got posted in the chat, I think. It got posted in the chat? Yeah, there it is. 91 speed, 86 excel, 68 hit power, which makes no, I don't add up. I don't add up. But I'm sure he's a smart guy. He graduated from Yale. I'm really disappointed his awareness and play rec so low from a Yale graduate. But that's a pretty solid pick at this point.
Well, speaking of solid pick, this is a really good one here. The New York Giants take Shaska Richard, 79 overall here in the middle of the third round. Wide receiver out of Penn State, 6'2", 233. He did run a 4.56, so probably high 80s. He won't be a burner. He did 18 on the bench press. Definitely could play slot. Definitely could come in and play the red zone, like a big, tall guy that you can throw the ball up to and go get it. But for a 79 overall player here in the third round, you may not be happy with his speed, but you'll be happy with the player overall.
He is quick dev too. He is 87 speed, 88 acceleration, 85 catching. He's solid all around. 89 spectacular catch, 88 release, 95 jumping. Man, that's the steal of the third round right there. Just taking a quick look at that, man. That's a sharp guy. I'm sorry, Dawson, that you have to see that. But that's a really solid guy for Pepper, and he's got to make the most of what he's got because, like he even said earlier, he traded most of his draft away for Jalen Ramsey, and so he's got to get some bargain bin quality picks at this point in the draft.
After an early run on offensive linemen and cornerback, that has died down. We're not seeing that run nearly as much. It's really quieted, but we're starting to see a run on a lot of linebackers. Defensive line have all gone, and we're seeing some tight ends are starting to come off the board as one goes right there. Jackson Knight to the Denver Broncos, 6'7", 247 kid out of UTEP, rated to go right here in the middle of the third round. Good catch possession type guy. Did run a 4.96 40 and 21 in the bench press.
You got left tackle O.C. Moody went to the Falcons before it changed real quick. And this is Maniac, so you can skip Maniac if you'd like.
Let me grab this cornerback real quick.
O.C. Moody.
We got the Patriots up, the Falcons, the Jags, the Rams, the Eagles, the Texans, and the Seahawks. Kirk Rowland, right guard, 73 overall. Goes over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's see what we got on Mr. Rowland. Out of Penn, he's an agile guy. 6'2", 314, did 28 on the bench press. Not a bad pick for them. And here's starting to go that run on tight ends. You're going to start seeing guys take flyers on the really fast kids. The number one guy is still on the board, but Leonard Patterson, rated to go a little lower than this. Low third round. I guess you consider this low third round. 6'2" guy, 252, ran a 4.78 40, so he'll be one of the fastest and one of the strongest at 22 bench press. Possession guy, can catch everything that you kind of throw his way. Really good pick for a pretty powerful Patriots team that found themselves a little in trouble against the 49ers, being able to move the ball, even though he did find some running success, just didn't stick with it long enough to be able to hold on to that lead that he had late in that game. It's still weird to see the Falcons picking and not having Dwayne's name and fingerprint attached to it. But the Falcons, Jaguars, Rams, Eagles, Texans, Seahawks, and then my Saints. So when we get a little later here, I will kind of let you guys do all the talking so I can look at my draft board, because I honestly have zero clue what's left out there. Just kind of glancing at it real quick, though, I think you still have a lot of halfbacks that are going to be able to make plays in this league. There's been no fullbacks that have been touched, and there is some really good fullbacks in this draft. A handful of receivers that are left. Cornerback still looks really, really good. And a couple possible offensive linemen that guys may take some flyers on. And then late in the draft, somebody's going to get their hands on some really, really good kickers in this draft, because I think that there are some really good ones that are left here. Keithan Pickerson, halfback out of Massachusetts. 6 foot, 198, an elusive type player. Ran a 4.58 40. That's the last thing the Falcons need, is another speedy receiver. Only 9 in the bench press, so he's probably like a third down type back. But it's 78 overall. One of the best draft picks so far this draft, this late in the third round. Those stupid Falcons continue to get better and better.
Yeah, he's looking for a replacement for Coleman. He traded Tevin Coleman. I think he just got a replacement with him there. Like I say, he's not as stout as Coleman was, but you got another speed back who can play third down. I think that's a solid pick there. Brady comes up with a Banks Bowie, defensive tackle for Texas. See what we can pull up on him there. I know, Nate, you're probably trying to scout a little bit.
287 is his weight. Did 25 in the bench press. A speedy guy. He's a speed rusher. And for a defense for the Jaguars, I'll let you talk about it while I look over my draft board. But the Jaguars are having to rebuild because they lost a lot of very, very good players, including, unless he got him back, including the interception record holder now in the OMFL.
He did bring back Kratos. Kratos looked like, unless he used a regression on him, and I don't know if Brady had that he took a hit. And so he'll still be Kratos. He just might be a little bit watered down, but he did lose some people in the defense, traded away the best cornerback in the AFC. So he's starting kind of from scratch. I think he's trying to – I don't know if he's trying to fast forward it. Brady's good enough to win with a lot of – with lesser teams. I think that he's just starting to plug in and make this defense his own again. Then you have the Rams come up with a defensive guy for a change. B.J. Wingo. Let me see if somebody sent me something. They haven't sent me nothing. 6'5", 309, power rusher. It's kind of the exact opposite of Banks Bowie was. He's a bigger guy, power rusher. He ran a 5.07 to 40. He did have 35 on the bench press. That's a real solid pick right there. You're talking about a hog molly in the middle that can clog up those lanes when you play the 49ers and Seahawks. I think that's a real solid pick. You have the Eagles come up with B.J. Olsen. Right tackle out of Marshall. 6'5", 314. Kind of reminds you of maybe I was trying to think of that right tackle that played for the Eagles for a long time, but it just slipped my mind as I tried to say it. 6'5", 314, 23 years old, pass protector, 28 on the bench press. I haven't seen any pictures of him yet. It looks like a solid pick, especially at this point in the draft. I look at B.J. Wingo, got sent to me a screenshot, 88 strength, 80 block sheds, 79 power moves, 80 tackle. That's a solid player to build on, man. You have a little bit of play rec and awareness, and like I said, you got a hog molly right there to clog up the middle of that defensive line. Let's see here. I know Nate's coming up. Texans, Seahawks, Saints, Raiders, the Colts, Saints again. So I know Nate's trying to get his board ready.
I am. I'm just trying to run through and do a little bit of a board for myself here. It's so hard to do these draft picks and pay attention.
I'll try to handle it to you. I know you got them 2 picks. I down for my pick. Cornerback Ray Lennon to the Texans, and bam, it's gone. Parrish Austin, cornerback to the Seahawks. So Nate, you are up. You did no favor for him there, Mo. You picked way too fast.
No, he didn't help me out.
Got a minute left.
I'm gonna
Parrish
go.
Austin.
I'm gonna talk about my kid real quick.
Go
Eric
ahead.
Eric Jameson.
Another corner.
He's ranked number 1 in true overall talent. I got him at 92. 6-foot guy, 182 out of Hawaii. A man-to-man guy, kid. That's the kind of player I like. 74 overall, 92 speed, 79 man coverage, only 68 in zone. 70 play recognition, 90 acceleration, 84 agility, 79 press, so he'll be able to press some guys. Don't love his jump at 72, but 72 catch. He'll be able to catch a lot of really, really good passes. So not a terrible player there, especially here in the 3rd round.
That was a good pick by the Raiders. I had him on my site. He is a slower outside linebacker. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he runs a 3.4. I could be completely wrong about Bowles, but that's a really solid. I'll let you talk about him. I got a guy I'm fixing to select real quick.
Looks like Mo posted his cornerback, Paris Austin. Speed 91, man coverage 77, zone is at 83, so that's a solid slot cornerback. 89 acceleration, 87 agility, and 75 overall. So a solid. His catching is 61, jumping is 71. That's looks kind of a little low for a cornerback, but overall a solid cornerback this late in the draft. And then it looks like Colts picked the first fullback off the board. Coda, if you want to talk more about him, Derek Cowart out of USC.
Yeah. He was solid. Honestly, he didn't come off the page like I figured he was going to come off of. There's 2 fullbacks there I was choosing in between. This one's pretty solid. I was kind of disappointed in his run block. He's 73 impact block. He's 86 lead block, 66 run block, 81 strength. He's going to do what I need him to do. I honestly wish that run block would have been a little bit higher. He's 71 overall. But for a position that I really need to fill, I thought it was a good pick. And I know Nate just picked, and I'll let him talk about his pick.
Yeah, I was going to take a chance on an offensive lineman, but honestly got worried about it just because I didn't like the ranking. He's supposed to go later in this draft, and I just didn't want to waste a 3rd round pick. So I took the other fullback too, just because it was worth it. Worst case, he sits on my practice squad for a year. 69 overall, 87 lead block, 80 strength, 65 run block, 71 speed, which I like, 70 impact blocking, 75 acceleration, which I really like, and then 67 truck. So if I got to give it to him there, he should be able to do a good job there. So not a terrible pick, but you're talking about here in the 3rd round. If you guys don't mind, can you go about 2 or 3 picks before my first pick? Not before this last pick, but before my first pick, and just kind of ramble off what we got here so I can catch up the draft board.
Okay, I ended up on B.J. Wingo was the last one I talked about. Well, actually, Olsen I talked about. And then we got
What
the
is
Texans.
Olsen? Oh, yeah, I got B.J. Olsen.
The Texans picked on the next pick, the 26th pick in the 3rd round. They picked cornerback Ray Lennon. And then the Seahawks picked cornerback Parrish Austin. And then you picked Eric Jameson.
Mr. Austin, all right. All right, and then after that, what happened?
Then it was Derek Bromley. That's actually one I would really like to look into. I wish that I haven't seen a picture put up of him yet, but he was on my board. He was actually held up pretty high. He was 6'3", 250 pounds, 22 years old. But he did run and we were just talking about this 4'9", 440. But he's 33 on the bench press. You're talking about a middle, somebody he's a run stopper, blitzer guy to me. I don't know if he's going to cover anybody. I think it's a solid pick if you can protect him on the defensive side. If you don't let him be one-on-one with one of these fast tight ends or fast running backs, I think that's a solid pick.
Okay, what happened after him? Because I had him, but then I don't know what happens after that.
After you, 49ers picked right tackle Anthony Beltran.
Let me get that guy.
And for the first pick in the 4th round, the Dolphins picked.
Oh, he was
center.
a right tackle. Oh, yeah, here he is. All right, center.
They picked Patrick Decker.
He's the guy that I was thinking about grabbing a little earlier. All right, what happened after that?
And then I had the Panthers picked right guard Alan Quinn.
Right guard Quinn. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I got him. What happened after Allen?
Then Browns picked tight end Kendall Truong.
Okay, and then we're here at Buchanan.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, let me catch up with Mr. Buchanan real quick. Where'd you at, Mr. Buchanan? I just seen you. Oh, that's because I'm looking at receiver. That's why. He's out of UAB, 6'1", 234, ran a 4.66 40, did 32 on the bench press. So a big old mauler of a kid there. And then I've seen a tight end out of Tulane, so I'm guessing Griffin Moses.
Yes, Moses.
And then Tyrone Grayson. I'm going to go back and talk about Moses real quick. Griffin Moses, 6'3", 253 out of Tulane, a possession type tight end, ran a 5.06 40, 27 on the bench press. I love that. He'll be able to hold on to the ball. He's got that big body target. Not a super fast burner, but should be a pretty good player for whoever just grabbed him. I actually didn't get to see the team.
The Steelers.
The Steelers. So a good pick for Jennings and his team as he really tries to get that offense back on track. Tyron Grayson goes to the New York Jets. 77 overall here in the 4th round. What a pick for them. A lot of very good receivers being introduced into the league this year. 6'5", 23 years old, 212 pounds out of Rice, a possession type guy. Did run a 4.70 40, which isn't great, but he did do 18 on the bench press. Now, I'll give you some insight as to why we have so many of these really good receivers with high overall. And that's because this roster has actually been edited. It is a custom draft, but it's been edited to fit our roster edits of our league, which means that receivers have that run after catch and sideline catch already built in. You don't have to earn that. And because of that, that's going to inflate these receivers just a slight bit more than other positions. No one in these roster area edits have high motor. Linebackers have conservative play the ball, cornerbacks with balance, DBs I should say with balance. So these rosters have been edited to fit the roster edits that we did for like 12 hours early in season 1, season 80 I should say. And so that's why you see the slight inflation here in receivers.
Nate?
Yeah?
No, I was just going to, talking about that Bromley earlier, I was really intrigued by him, and Jay Bowles sent me just a screenshot of him. He is 86 acceleration, and one thing is he's only 74 speed, and I talked about him not being able to cover anybody, but he's 89 strength at right outside linebacker.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's the making of a defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a really solid guy. Very intrigued. That's just a very interesting player to me because you don't see him built like that very often. I'm sorry, that was just an anomaly to me, and I had to share it.
Verley Bodden goes over to the Atlanta Falcons, and then quarterback Jackson Evans goes over to the Rams. It's interesting to see them grab a quarterback. I guess they felt like they needed to take a chance after to have a good backup there. Let me go ahead and throw this out there. We are into the 4th round, pick number 10. I'm having to kind of tone it down a little bit because my wife is deathly sick and been in bed since 7:50 whenever we started the podcast, so I can't get too loud and excited. But we are willing to take some draft calls, and so if you're willing to come and be on the show here, of course you need to be in our voice chat on Discord. You should be muted, but just let D. Wayne know in a PM that you want to talk, and he'll let me know that you want to talk, and we're ready to bring you on. We'll have you unmute yourself, and we'll do a little interview about your team, your offseason, your draft, and kind of your vision of where you're going in season 81. It's always a fun thing that we do. We usually always hear from Priest and usually always hear from Mo and his Seahawks. And so, yeah, I'm just interested. Cincy Berg usually hops on. I don't even know if he's around tonight. But if you would like to be on the draft show here tonight and let us do a quick interview, please let Dawson or D-Wayne know that you want to be on, and those guys will let me know that you want to come on, and we'll bring you on. Oh, I could have skipped this pick. I didn't even pay attention. This is...
I'm sorry, I was scouting. I didn't look to see who was next.
Your pick is coming up. So Darren Sims, defensive tackle, goes over to the Chicago Bears. we are pretty worried about our buddy Outlaw, who's been missing in action for over 24 hours, which is not like him. He's usually pretty excited about these. I'm going to go ahead and get it over to you, Mr. Dwayne. As long as you're okay, I'm going to skip this next pick.
Roll.
Okay. Let me skip this pick. I hit the wrong button. So he gets Darren Sims. Jimmy Hanks, tight end out of Hawaii, goes over to the Baltimore Ravens. A little bit of a reach there for the tight end for the Ravens. And then Henry Carter, defensive tackle out of Clemson, goes over to your team. One of the best defensive tackles left. Why don't you go ahead and talk about him?
I had my eye on him. I've kind of wanted that big hog model you put in the middle of the defensive line. He's 89 strength, 78 block shed, 76 power move, 79 tackle. He is only 71 acceleration, 63 speed. But like I said, man, he's just, I hate to say that big fat guy in the middle, but that's what I want. I want that big guy to be in the middle of my defensive line. And I wanted to take a flyer. Like I said, he was one of the higher rated ones left. And I feel like it was a good pick. I was kind of shooting for the moon and that maybe he would be a really good pick. But it was a very solid pick. And like I said, he might be able to plug and play with the lack of depth I have on that defensive line.
We had a tight end and then a safety and our receiver right off. Now, these picks are going to speed up pretty quickly, and so we could use any help at all if anybody wants to help us to keep up. I'm keeping up right now, but here pretty soon it's gonna go so quick it's gonna be impossible to keep up. But Tyrone Myers goes 72 overall, wide receiver out of Rutgers, goes over to the LA Chargers. I get them all confused. I was saying San Diego for so long. But a red zone threat guy, 6'5", 236. Did run a 4.55 40, 23 on the bench press. I would not be shocked to see a lot of guys submit those request forms to move a lot of these receivers over to tight end. I see it's going to be a thing, and it'll be interesting to see how the league reacts and if the league can adjust, or if those guys come in at tight end and start kind of wreaking havoc on defenses.
I'm trying to see, we got some, see if anybody wants to jump in here and talk about their draft so far.
Antoine Hayden. I'm going to talk about Antoine Hayden real quick. Tight end out of Tulane, goes over to the New York Giants. 23 years old, 247, 6'5", a possession guy. Ran a 4.96 40 and did 14 on the bench press. Can kind of catch anything and everything thrown his way. He was part of that two-headed tight end monster there in Tulane this past year. And should make some plays there for the New York Giants, who are trying to build around Saquon Barkley. I think that they traded for a quarterback. I don't know what they're doing at quarterback, but I definitely know that they made some big bulk trades. I missed the pick right here before Birch, so maybe you can help me catch that one.
It would be left outside linebacker B.J. Cisse.
Yeah, B.J. Cisse out of Temple, pass coverage guy, 6'3", 237, ran a 4.66 40, 21 on the bench press. Should be a pretty good little player for who grabbed them, because I actually missed it.
I pulled it right back up. Falcons did.
The Falcons,
so you'll see him twice this year.
Matt Burke, wide receiver out of Temple, goes over to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm sorry, I was thrown off by the poor kitty cat yelling in the background. Ran a 4.56 40, did 18 on the bench press. 6'5", so a big kid, 205.
Mo picks up a left guard, Spencer McCoy from Maine. I had to pull up some stuff on him.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick, because I actually thought that there were some better left guards out there, so it's interesting to see him go that direction.
I would like to see a picture of him. He did have B across the most part. He was 29 strength, 29 on the bench press.
Hey, I don't want to cut you off, but are we still skipping Maniac?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are. McCoy was 80 strength, 80 pass block, 77 pass power block. Just looking at stats, he's going to be your. I honestly would have him at, I don't know how big he is, but he is a pass block specialist. A lot of his run block stats kind of disappoint me a little bit. And being 80 strength, he's not going to he's not going to push anybody around. But I'm sure Mo can find a place to put him. If worst case scenario, you got to have depth, especially offensive linemen will get hurt, and so it's good to have him. I do have your first caller, Nate, whenever you're ready.
Let me go ahead and do this. My pick is in 3 picks. Let me go ahead and get through my pick, and then we can definitely bring it on. Who we're going to be bringing on? We're bringing on Mo with the Seahawks? Duvall. We'll bring on Mr. Duvall. Duvall, give us just a couple minutes here, and we'll do that. We'll bring you on.
Mo's mic broke, so he said he won't be able to call us in tonight. There goes our first kicker off the board.
Yep, I like that kid. I actually had my eye on him to go ahead and take a shot and see if I couldn't replace my punter. Max Valdez, kicker out of Montana State. The best kicking power kicker out of this one. An A on kicking power. 6 foot, 206, but in reality, who cares how big or fast or slow or strong your kicker is, as long as he can boot that thing through the uprights. Look, you do worry about accuracy, but this guy had B+ accuracy, so he should be just fine there.
I'm anxious to see the stats in that kicker to see what they look like. We got the Raiders up right now, and then the Ravens, the Saints.
The Ravens and the
Bengals.
Saints. Yeah, so I'm going to take it just a quick second to look over my roster to see who I might draft here.
We got 20 seconds left on this pick.
I mean, we are at slim pickings, right? It has been picked pretty clean. The owners in the OMFL do their homework, and yeah, they don't waste any
Looks
time.
like I'm going to get a picture of this kicker here. He's 83 kick power, 88 accuracy. I think that's pretty solid. Jason wanted you to know that this is where the good meat. You got to clean. You got to get better, clean those bones.
You gotta get down deep in there. And this is really the smart players begin to draft. They begin to draft. They begin to draft according to value instead of according to need.
Yes, best player valuable. And guys start filling out their practice squads here. You start getting guys that might be, might be a good player for you 2 or 3 years from now. You put him on that practice squad and hope that he doesn't get poached off. We have a couple poachers here. Like when practice squad season comes around, you better watch your back.
I'm gonna go ahead and take a chance here on Cameron Inslee, 6'4", 303 run stopper out of Georgia. 91 strength, 78 block shed, 74 power moves, 69 speed, 80 tackles, 75 acceleration. So not a terrible pick here. 75 overall in the 4th round. I can't be mad at that.
No, and he looks like a bald Dakota Dawson. He looks exactly like
he kind of does. He does kind of look like Dakota.
Oh, let me go look. Come on, man.
He's a bulky guy.
He's a bulky guy. All right, let's go ahead. Let's catch me up with the 2 picks I missed, and then we'll bring in Duvall.
I can pull it up real quick. You had the Raiders pick left guard Stephen McLean.
Let me get that one.
And then the Ravens drafted defensive tackle Joey Chavez.
All right, Mr. Duvall, go ahead and reach down and hit that unmute button and come join us here real quick, and we'll talk about
what's going on, fellas.
Mr. Duvall, how are you tonight? Now, you missed some early rounds, but you're here. You've caught up.
My GM tonight. My GM traded all my draft picks away, so I just told him to give me his resignation. We ain't have no real player we traded for, and now we ain't get no player in the draft. So we are fine. We're looking for a new GM.
Well, let's talk about your team. Your team was one of the more powerful teams in the NFC. You kind of had to struggle there towards the end. But think about your team last year. Where did you kind of hit some speed bumps there, and where did the struggles come from?
Injury, man. Cook got hurt. And then when we got hurt, we had Barr that got hurt, Anthony Barr, and right in the middle of the season, we started losing games because 2 key players got hurt. Hopefully we'll get over that injury bug and win 10 games and make this playoff this year.
So what was the goals going into this offseason? You kind of hit the injury bug. You had a nice little run there, though. What was the goals coming into this offseason?
Well, one of the things we wanted to shore up is fullback position. We was able to get the one fullback we look for because we wanted to pound the ball. I did want to get one solid halfback that could run up the middle and give them short yardage, and we got that in the first round. Even this guy we just got in the 4th round, I'm excited about because he's a red zone guy. We wanted some more height in that slot position. So even though we didn't get a lot of picks, but we're going to use what we got to try to make it different and win this NFC North.
Now, before we talk about the draft so far, what was your plan going into the free agency? Were you active? Did you save your money? Were you kind of tight? What was your offseason plan when it came to free agency?
Well, actually, I was trying to save my money. I didn't see a lot that was going to be that was upgrading the position I got. So I wanted to be very smart. The only position that we saw that was an upgrade was the fullback, and we was able to get a guy.
So let's talk about your draft now. Are you excited with some of those early picks? Did you set a draft board?
Yeah, I set up a draft board. And,
how did that work out?
It worked out good. I mean, we wanted, we really wanted guys to stick to our scheme, and so the running back we got in the first round, he's a little slower, but he's a pounder, and we want to be able to pound that ball. Looking at my division, you got to be able to run that ball effectively in this division, and especially in this cold weather. So you don't need speedster. You need someone that's slow and steady that can get you 2 or 3 yards every now and then.
What are we looking for as we wrap up round 4 here? What are you trying to do here in the later rounds? What's kind of your scheme as you get to the later rounds?
Yeah, I'm looking for best available. I'm looking for these sleepers.
Right.
I mean, I'm listening to y'all talk. I was driving home listening to y'all, and I already saw the draft board, and I'm like, it's a lot of sleeper. Like the guy I just got in the 4th round, a 75 rated guy. That guy going to be a nice little receiver. I mean, he's not going to be a starter, but he's going to be a contributor. And it's a lot of sleeper. You just got to do your homework and know exactly what kind of guys you're looking for.
So what is the outlook? How are we thinking about our team as we move into season 81?
I'm excited. You know, I'm still looking for a backup quarterback. Hopefully I can find me a good little guy that can play backup. If not, you know, we'll try to get someone in free agency. Other than that, man, I'm excited about this division. This is a fun division I'm in with these guys, and hopefully we can, you know, take it this year. I feel sick that we gave it away at the end to the Lions. So the Lions, I'm calling you out. I'm going 2-0 against you this year. Freeze, I'm tired of you with them old last-second win. I'm calling you out. I'm trying to go 2-0 against you. The Bears, you tripped me up. I'm going 2-0 against you. I'm telling everyone, I'm putting everyone on blast. If you want to win, it's coming through the North. So I'm calling Mo out. I don't care you in the West. You got to come through the North now, baby. I'm all day. We're going to win this division, and we're trying to take it deep in the playoff this year.
Well, let me say this. If you need a backup quarterback, come talk to me. I got way too many of them. I'll give one away super cheap, and you'll enjoy the player. But as we kind of put a bow on this whole thing, what is the goal for the Minnesota Vikings for season 81?
Hey, our goal is simple: Super Bowl or bust. We ain't trying to just make the playoff. We trying to win it all.
Which team concerns you the most, though, when you think about your division, and then when you think about in the NFC just in general?
My division is a funny division. I know I sound like these guys because they all play different type of ball. It all depends on the weather. You know, if we played late in the season in that snow, man, I wasn't ready for that. When you go up to Green Bay and Chicago and you got to play outside in them elements, it's tough. And that's why you got to have some real tough guys that are able to make plays. And that's the reason why when I look at my draft, that running back, he's going to give me them 2 or 3 yards. This big receiver, he could sit in that snow and just make a play for me. And so you got to be smart. And then when you play Detroit, they on that turf. So you need some speedster like Cooks that can get up and down that field. So it's a fun division. But when I look at the big picture where we at, it's tough, man. You look at the Seahawks, you look at the Falcons, those some tough guys. And you're going to have to get a complete team to go against some guys and don't make a mistake.
Now,
I think we got a good chance to compete against them guys, man.
Now, I got to call you out a little bit. We've named everyone in your division. You named the Falcons. You named the Seahawks. But the Super Bowl winning 49ers are sitting in the NFC, and you didn't even mention them.
Man, I don't fear that man. That man there won. I'll see him when we get to the playoffs.
All right, last question from me. Do you pay attention to the draft of the guys in your division? Do you pay attention to the Bears, the Lions?
Yeah, you got to count what they drafted because that's your competitor. I got to worry about the North first. So when I look at what they draft, I'm looking at guys that can counterbalance what they trying to do.
Well, there you have it. I am all out of questions. D. Wayne, what you got for our boy?
Oh, man, I love to hear that. The NFC North, man, has always had a different – they're like in their own little world.
Yeah.
They fight between themselves all season. They beat each other up. But all four teams out of the division can be a great team. The Vikings team was a dangerous team. Like I said, I honestly thought he was going to pull it out there and make it in the playoffs. Like I said, he got tripped up. But I do think the Vikings are a team that, and I think Duvall will go with it, that the NFC's going to have to watch out for this year.
Yeah, man, y'all better watch out. All y'all other team in the NFC, even I'm even calling out this other guy who got the owners of the Saints. I'm calling you out too.
Well,
you gonna get away with it.
I'm sure we'll see each other before it's all said and done. Mr. Duvall, it's been a pleasure to have you on here, man. Thanks for doing it.
I want to say one thing, man. Y'all doing an amazing job, man. This is a great league. You got to stay involved and active in this league, and I love it, man. Hey, at the end of the day, it's all family, it's all love.
Yep.
But, hey, I'm going to say this one more time. I'm trying to beat them Saints, too.
Well, Mr. Duvall, I'll warm up the bayou for you. We'll feed you real good, and then we're going to whip that tail on the field.
All right, guys.
All right, Mr. Duvall, have a good one, buddy.
Have a good one, man.
And there we have it, Mr. Duvall of the Minnesota Vikings. I've kind of missed a few picks. I did pretty good here, keeping up. Let me get this last one, though, before we talk about. Here we go. Parker Davey, and then Dre, left outside linebacker. Perfect. And what a great interview, right? Like, just a lot of energy. I love the passion, right? I love the call-outs. Yeah, I mean, look, the Vikings had it, and it was right there at the end. The Lions were able to continue to play hard and kind of steal that one for them. But the Vikings are reloaded, retooled, and ready to go. That is a really, really good team. It's going to be a tough team to take or to keep from winning that division this year. Look, there are teams that can do it, but the Minnesota Vikings are really set up for success, and you can hear it in Duvall's voice. He's ready to hit the field tonight.
I know, that's right.
Oh, Dawson, you got to talk about this player because this is the guy I skipped for 2 rounds. I really was hoping he would be here for my next pick. You got to tell me what he looks like.
Yeah, he comes out as 72 overall, 84 strength. Blocking is a run block is 81, pass block is 74. It's kind of hit and mix, missed on the run blocks, finesse, and powers all in the high 70s. Awareness 65, so need to throw him a playbook before he can actually start. And this just taking a flyer and reaching, and it says it's a good pick, ranked #1 in true talent. So he's the best guy in the draft. I'm sure that's a glitch, but
yeah, it is because every pick I've made says #1 in true talent.
I assumed it was. Being 72 overall, but he fits my scheme as far as a guard, and I can keep him in the as a backup. Build him up next couple of years, and hopefully he'll be able to at least compete for a starting position by the end of the year, or maybe even take 2 years to build him up.
We're here at pick number 12 in the 5th round. We have the Cowboys up now, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Green Bay Packers, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Detroit Lions, and then back-to-back the Denver Broncos. So we're moving right along here in the 5th round. If you want to come on like Mr. Duvall did, please let us know. We'll bring you on. Dawson, let's go ahead and talk to you. You just made this pick. You had a really rough first season. Now, you were in L.A. a couple of seasons ago with the Rams and a really powerful team there. I mean, you were constantly pushing for that division, also pushing for the playoffs and pushing deep in the playoffs. You went to the Los Angeles Chargers. Back then it was the San Diego Chargers. It took you a couple years to kind of rebuild that team, but then you had this like super powerful run team that played really, really great defense. And now you've moved over to the Washington Redskins, and you kind of stumbled out of the gate with year one, but you kind of have the core and like the nuts and bolts of a team that fits you well.
Cutting out.
Oh, can you get me now?
Yeah, or you're going in and out. I don't know if it's my microphone.
I think it might be you guys because Dwayne was cutting out. And I know that you guys don't have the greatest internet up there in Arkansas.
Put me on a spot like this, and then it's not. I swear it's not meant.
Talk about your Washington Redskins.
I think I can hear you now.
Talk about your Washington Redskins. What happened in season 80?
You there, Dawson?
See, it's him, not me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can't hear him. Uh-oh. We lost him. Well, Mr. Dawson, go ahead and work your way back. Man, these picks are going so fast I can't even get them entered. Dawson, you back? Dawson, I hear you now.
So don't cuss or anything when you come back on here. I was interested. I know Dawson's for a second. The Bears picked quarterback Jordan Decker with the 10th pick in the 5th round. Really interested. He was one of the fastest quarterbacks in this draft.
Cornerback, you said?
Quarterback. He kind of reminded me a lot of a watered-down version of the Knight guy on your team.
Yeah.
Real solid quarterback. And then the Ravens.
What was his name again?
Jordan Decker. For the Bears. And then the free safety, Caesar Slade, was another one who was predicted to go higher, higher than that. And I thought that the Ravens computer picked a really good pick for him right there.
And what pick was that? What was the name again?
That was Caesar Slade.
What was he?
Free safety.
Oh, yeah, I think I got that one. Maybe I didn't.
And then the Cowboys, I'm going to go in order. Halfback Parker Holland went to the Cowboys. Right end Branch Carroll went to the Chiefs. Hold on.
Let me get Parker. It takes me a little bit to find these guys. What was his name again? Parker?
Parker Holland.
Oh, yeah, I did get him. What was the next one?
Right end Branch Carroll to the Chiefs.
Right end Branch Carroll. Branch, where you at, buddy? Right end. Yep. He was the number one rated right end too. I'm surprised he lasted that long.
The Cheeseheads went with left end Bennett Ingram. And Priest said make sure to jot him down about the 7th round. He'd be ready for his interview. And then the Chargers went with...
Who was the Ingram kid?
Bennett Ingram.
And he was a what?
He went to the Packers.
No, but
left tackle.
Left tackle. That's why I can't find him. I was looking at left end.
I said left end. I'm blind.
Bennett Ingram. Here we go. Okay, what happened after Bennett?
Defensive tackle Madison McGill to the Chargers.
All right, I got that one.
And then let me refresh it. And I think the Lions drafted
Kobe Agnew.
And I know he's a speedster because I had him on my list as a late round flyer. I would love to see a picture of him, 00.
Yeah, he 213-pound back, 6 foot, out of Georgia Tech. An elusive guy, 4'4", 340. He did 15 in the bench press, a 4.20 shuttle. So yeah, I mean, look, a good speedster, probably third down back there for the Lions. Plus, he loves his speed.
But the Lions are a team that I think 00 was a few playmakers away from.
I want to hear from him tonight too, because he's my buddy. I've met him in person. He's been with me for 20+ years. Like, if you're listening, you need to call in. I know that you're around.
Yeah, I think we got a good one. Was it a couple drafts? We got a good interview out of him one time.
Yeah, we did.
I know he's pretty quiet. I don't hear from him as much since we're not in the same division.
Dawson, are you back with us yet?
Yes, yeah, I'm back now. I don't know what it is. These Turtle Beaches, for some reason, they go in and out.
You see, you were blaming me, but it was you the whole time.
I apologize, but what was the question again?
Well,
Did we skip the Broncos?
We were Yeah, we can.
I don't know. I'm just asking somebody.
Oh,
never
no.
mind.
No, I ain't skipping that. Just tell me about season 80. I know that I kind of set it up to get here, but season 80 didn't go the way you wanted it to, but the core of that team really is built to fit you. Really great defensive line, really powerful running back. So what happened in season 80 with the Redskins?
Yeah, I started off pretty good. I won my first game, and after that it went downhill. I think I played the Colts week 2, and I started out I think like 3-2 or maybe even
Yes.
4-2, and then just went like downhill. What really got me was turnovers on offense. I never could stop anybody, passing or running on defense, and that's just a formula of disaster when you can't do anything on offense and you can't stop anybody on defense. Geis, he did get hurt middle of the season. So he was out for all through the majority of that. That when we was losing, I think we ended up losing like 6 or 7 straight, something like that. Didn't do so good as what I wanted it to be. I realized that Josh Norman is not as good as a cornerback as I thought he would, or I thought he is. So I might move him up to safety. His speed, he dropped a little bit of speed. He still got a lot of zone coverage. That's his specialty, but his man and speed against those those tall, big body receivers. And then start off the off season.
Is Maniac still going?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still as far as I know. Yeah. And so yeah, it didn't really end very well. I think I ended up losing. Well, I went 5-11, so it wasn't really a good year, and I'm hoping I can rebound and be a little bit more optimistic of season 81.
Well, talk about what was your plan going into free agency. You tended to have a lot of money. Were you a big spender? Were you holding on? Were you active in trades? What was your offensive plan before we got to the draft?
I was a little bit of a mix of everything. I knew I had to get there and make those, at least try to get there and put a little fillers out and see who would be willing to get any of my players or trade. I ended up trading kind of in division to the Cowboys. I don't really do that very often, but I had a guy that was on an aspiring contract, and he had a good guy that was on an aspiring contract, and I felt like I was doing I guess I'm gambling right now on being able to re-sign Dak Prescott. I guess right now I'm not giving up too much, is what I feel like I'm not, because I got a third round back. I did give a second round for him. But we're both for gambling, and it's usually one of the divisional teams don't end very well on that. So hopefully it's not me. But I did make another trade. Denver, he said he wasn't going to make it, and he was looking for a offensive lineman and even a linebacker. So I kind of threw a package deal for both my star players. I'm kind of gambling right now, going to season 81, especially with losing those top talent guys. I ended up getting his first round pick and a second round pick, and with those picks, I'm hoping what I end up with, I can build them up and kind of go in and build that team and get ready to win now, instead of win 3 or 4 seasons down the road. Especially the way we have the incentives, the XP training. We can't just wait later. We have to win now and go for the trophy now.
What has been the plan of attack here in the draft? What have you looked to accomplish? Do you feel like you've gotten there, and what's the plan as we wrap things up?
Well, I think much like my team, everybody's offensive line sucks right now, so that was my main goal, is try to find some depth. And I am able to do. I feel like I have so far. I've got 3. I feel like quality linemen. 2 that can probably start on my line right now. The other one that I just picked, our kitchen. I feel like I can build him up just the way he has his strength set up already. And I knew I had to get a little bit more defensive line depth. I wasn't getting very many sacks last season. Mainly, I'm not sure if it was either my play calling or exactly what it was, but I think I was ranked one of the worst teams in sacks. So I had to get some kind of pressure, and that's what I wanted to do with my top pick, the 7th pick. I ended up getting the left end DJ Hill out of LSU, and he's 80 overall. He's a speed defensive end, so I'm hoping he can get over get past those rushers or those tackles and and sack the quarterback, or at least put pressure on so the quarterbacks don't have all day and can kind of throw and attack my secondary. So overall, I still got 2 more picks. I got one in the 6th round and one in the 7th round, and there was a little bit more of practice squad fillers, or even potential try to find that little small gem out there and capitalize on that.
What is the goal for season 81? The realistic goal for the Redskins to bounce back?
Well, like Duvall said, you got to go for the trophy or bust. But I like mini milestones. I like to go for the division. Playoffs is all nice and everything. But you got to win, win it all to make it worth something. I think the last few, this is the 3rd cycle I've been here. And the last cycle with the Chargers, I kind of made the playoffs, then I missed the playoffs. I made the playoffs, I missed the playoffs, and so I'm hoping I can go farther than the divisional round, which I did last cycle. That was as far as I went. So really, the realistic goal is to win more than 5 games, better than what I was last season, and just kind of improve on that. Be a bit more optimistic, and kind of look at my team and look at what I can attack on the offense and what I need to cover and call on the defense a bit more better, and be more cautious on the turnovers.
Now you said an interesting word there that I want to kind of dissect a little bit. You said just be more encouraged about my team. When that record kind of turned, those injuries kind of turned, you did get pretty negative about your team. What do you think caused that, and what's kind of the plan to stay positive and in a positive mindset?
Well, it's kind of, a tricky question on that. I did get a little agitated, I think, like everybody else. And at the end of the day, you just got to realize, at least take a few hours away before you, do any feedback, before you even want to talk about the game. And that's kind of my, my goal or my plan going forward, is to be a bit more optimistic. And at the end of the day, like I said, realize it's just a game. We're here, as a group, and there's a ton of other things that we can do on a daily basis that we talk about in chat, and mainly I know the competitiveness, at least for me, once that game starts, I want to win, and then when I lose, nothing's irritating more than when you try your best and you just can't do anything right, in my opinion. And a lot of times that's for me. I guess gotta sit down and actually look at what plays I'm calling versus what they're calling, and be a bit more strategic than what I have been. And then when I
Oops, sorry, my bad. I was turning on I was turning on the YouTube channel just to see what the chat was in there, and there's actually people chatting in there. So my bad. I didn't think anybody would be chatting on there. Yeah, look, I think that you have the potential, right? And you've shown that potential before. Yeah, and I think my last biggest question for you is how does a real life Packers fan run the Redskins and then trade for a Dallas quarterback?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know the history, because I'm all for playing for any other team other than a NFC North team, and I'm still trying. I'm waiting for Priest to give me those Packers come next cycle. If not me, just give it to Andrew or give it to somebody else that's a Packers fan. Share the wealth on that end. We can do it like a gambling, or I can PayPal you something. Not too much money, but sure, my wife, she just heard that. But
that's hilarious.
But yeah, I don't know. I've always been a Dak Prescott fan. If I can say his last name, Prescott. Just his days at Mississippi State. I just kind of like him overall.
Whoa. An Arkansas fan just said that he enjoyed watching a Mississippi State quarterback. Get out. Mute your mic.
When I'm saying in the pro, it's always good to see the SEC players that you watch through the years of him growing in a collegiate level go into pros and be successful.
No, let's get on the same page here. I never did and never would like. Now his name is slipping my brain. McFadden. Could not support McFadden at
Well, the
all.
only reason that is because he tore LSU up that one time when what was it, like 3 overtimes?
Yeah.
No,
It was.
in
I
Death
think it was
Valley.
33 years ago too.
Oh, yeah, we got to bring up the past on that one.
You just brought up the past.
No, I'm saying that we do as
Prescott.
Arkansas fans. We do. So.
It is Dakota Prescott. Let's not sleep on that.
Yeah.
That's
It's just,
so
a
funny.
story is pretty good overall, and I know NFL is not it doesn't, at the end of the day, it's not about stories. It's about how you can play on the field and in real life. He's still got 2 more years on the contract, so Cowboys fans in real life do have something to, I guess, kind of consider. And but we won't. This is not a Cowboys podcast. This is an OMFL podcast, so I'll pass this back to you.
So
Hey,
funny.
I have a line of interviews for you. The first one is your buddy 00.
Bring it in, Mr. 00. Unmute yourself, sir. We have to talk.
Hello.
My buddy 00. Now, let me give
How you doing?
some context and some history here. Back in January of 2001, my goofy self started the OMFL, and little did I know what I was getting myself into. I was lucky enough though to start off with, and you got to correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think Baltimore Ravens owner. Is that what you were?
No,
Who were you?
I was the first Jaguars.
The Jaguars. That's what it was. I knew it was like one of those back then expansion teams, but
Yeah, I went Jaguars, then Houston.
there it was. And so Mr. 00 joined me way back when, and has been with me a majority of the time, outside of a few little times where I wasn't the commish and took a break, and then a few little times where he took a break. But he's been with me a majority of the time. He and I actually met up in person. I was over in Detroit doing some work. That's where he lives, and so he came and met me at a restaurant, and we hung out for just a few minutes. So let's talk about it. Season 80, the Detroit Lions quietly had one of their best seasons that we've seen in a very long time for them. And you hung in there. You kept playing 00 football. The Minnesota Vikings, he says he hit the injury bug, but either way, he kind of pissed the bed. And you stole that division from him. What was that like to continue to play your type of football and to win that division in the end?
Well, at least I didn't choke when I lost all my halfbacks.
Did you hear him earlier?
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
he
he was-
planned on losing his halfbacks. I lost Riddick. I lost Luke Wilson. I lost my rookie. My rookie's still hurt, but I was able to pound the ball against him.
So how'd you do it? How did you hang in there and take that division at the end? Oh, it's your
We
pick.
ran-
It's your
yeah, I
pick.
got it.
Let's go ahead and
Compliment.
let you do your pick.
We ran the ball and played solid defense. Defense is what won it for me.
So what about, I think your Achilles heel, at least watching you for the past couple seasons, even getting to play you a little bit, the Achilles heel tended to be the turnovers and having too many turnovers. Were you able to cut those down, or was it just the defense that played so well that kept you in it?
At the end of the year, I didn't throw very many interceptions, so that came back around. For some reason, last few years, I haven't been able to throw.
So
Once I got the throwing down, I think I was okay this year.
Yeah. What's it going to take moving into the off season? What was I shouldn't say what's it going to take. What was your plan going into the off season before the draft? What were you looking to do, and were you able to accomplish some of those goals?
Well, I needed to get some playmakers on offense, and I don't think I had anything at wide receiver, and I didn't have any speed at halfback. Going into free agency, I added 3 fast receivers. I got D. Jackson, Crowder, and then I added another returner with 95 speed. So that worked out for me, and I kind of stole Shady also. Wasn't planning on taking Shady, but I got him.
Things like that just tend to happen in the off season.
Yeah,
So, what about your goals going here into the draft? What was the plan, and did you feel like you were able to accomplish that?
Well, my plan all along was to go offense, and first round I went with a linebacker.
So it sounds like you stuck to the
habits die
plan.
hard. Yeah, old habits die hard. Seems like every first round I take a linebacker.
So what about the rest of your draft? Are you happy with it? Were they hits? Were they misses? Like, where do you stand now that we're at pick number 10 in the 6th round?
Right now I didn't do bad. I think I got 2 wide receivers that might have to be changed over to tight end, but 84 speed, but great hands.
Were you the
So
one
it
that
worked
took
out
one
there.
of those big receivers that we talked about, Dwayne?
Yeah, I got 2 of them back to back, 84 speed, both of them. 164, 162.
Yeah, it was the 6'4" kid. I don't even remember his name, but big hands. I think he was like 90, spectacular catch, and just like a big receiver that you could definitely move over to tight end and wreak some havoc.
Yeah, that was King out of Texas A&M.
So what's it going to take for season 81? What's the outlook, and what's it going to take for you to bounce back? Because the Vikings have drawn the line in the sand here.
Yeah, I think my biggest worry right now is competing with the NFC West. Mo always has my number. King got my number. The NFC, looks like we just, like you said, we fight each other. We split. I think I split with everybody, but that's what it is. It depends on what we do out of division. I think we all play each other pretty tight.
So what are we looking to do for any finishing touches? Do we feel like our team is pretty set as we roll into 81, or are there some last little needs you're looking to fill as we wrap up the last couple of rounds here?
Not really. Right now, I'm looking at practice squad players here. I got 1 pick left, and then free agency after the draft. I got to get a backup quarterback. Mine didn't sign for me.
Yeah, a lot of guys going backup quarterback. I find that interesting because it's probably the one position that we actually don't have any injuries at, but
Right.
yet it's still you still got to have somebody just in case.
Well, I did lose Stafford for a game. I lost him early in the first quarter, and it cost me a game. My backup was a 65 overall rookie out of Nebraska, so it was kind of hard to play forward with him.
I think that's all the questions I have for my old buddy 00. I got to make my way up to Detroit to see him again. Dwayne,
Yeah,
Dawson?
a little bit longer.
Well, I kind of miss me and 00's rivalry, and I don't hear from him as much anymore now that he's went back to the north. But I do expect to keep seeing him in the playoff race, even if it's not winning that division. I think he's a good enough player and a good enough team. He should be in that playoff race every year. And maybe one of these days we'll see a Saints-Lions playoff meeting that we almost had this year.
I was so excited. You do not know how depressed I was whenever I advanced that and noticed that it was not going to be Detroit. I just think that would have been he and I have both not been in the playoffs in a little bit, and it just would have been a class. He and I always play really good games, and he's one of those guys I feel like I can just play my game plan, he'll play his, and it's going to be a chess match back and forth. But instead, I drew the Eagles, and I lost on a stupid fluke play at the very end. And the Detroit Lions fell to the Atlanta Falcons?
No, the Seahawks.
The Seahawks, which are going to be it's going to be a
Griffin
tough one.
got me again. Yep. Griffin got me again.
I'm trying to
I
get
do want
this.
to add that the NFC East plays the NFC North, so best of luck against my the division rivals, and I guess hopefully I win against you in week 3. And hopefully we can split each other's division wins on that.
All right, we'll look forward to that.
All right, just no pouting from whoever loses that game, okay? So just shake it off and let's move on. No pouting.
Yeah.
No problem.
00, there's always tons of love from me. Thanks for coming and being on the draft show. Good luck in season 81, my friend.
You too. All 3 of you.
All right.
All right, there
All
we
right,
have it. Now
have a good one.
I hear we got some more folks. So there you have 00, Mr. 21 years with me playing here in the OMFL. It's amazing that, I've known him almost as long as I've known my wife, which is super crazy. I've known him longer than I've had kids. So he and I go way back to the PC days, and I don't mean politically correct. I mean PC as in the machine. And back when we used to have 24-hour servers, that was at your actual computer. Like right now, we log into EA servers, but way back then, you as an owner, your computer, the commissioner's computer, was the server. And so your computer stayed on 24/7. And I would work nights back then. I'd get home at 2 in the morning, and I would log into my own server, and there was a built-in chat function, so we didn't have Discord and all these fancy things that we have nowadays, and you would use the in-game chat, and we would all get on there at 2 in the morning and start chatting football and doing trades, and it was the good old days. I think that we definitely have just as much content, way more content and activity now, but Double Zero and I go way, way, way back to Madden 2001 where it all began. So who do we got coming up here next? Before we go there, we got New York Giants took DJ Pittman, 67 overall fullback from Oregon. Should be a good player for him. Kind of a blocking fullback. Did run a 4.9 140, so he won't be stupid slow. Probably like high 70s, like 79 to 80, somewhere in there in that speed. So who we got coming up next?
I got you 3 in line, but I got you 5 Jets.
Oh, you just cut out, so I didn't hear it.
I got you Clyde for the Jets. Right
Mr.
here.
Clyde, go ahead and unmute yourself, Mr. Clyde. My H1Z1 buddy, who's been avoiding some H1Z1 as of late. We haven't got to see his pretty little face playing some H1Z1. But, Clyde, how's it going tonight, buddy?
It still shows he's muted.
No, he's still muted. Well, Clyde, if you can get yourself unmuted, we'd love to talk to you. He and I play H1Z1 with Pootie T from the NBC, and we always have a really good time. Mr. Clyde, now we can hear you, Mr. Clyde. How's it going tonight?
There we go. It's going well. I could have done a little bit better in the middle rounds, but overall, I'm satisfied with my performance tonight.
Well, let's get there. In Madden 18, you were the Tennessee Titans, and you made the jump over to the New York Jets. Why the jump? Why the Jets? What kind of stuck out to you as that wanted to be the team that you want to go over to?
Well, contrary to popular belief, it has nothing to do with the competition in the AFC South. As much as they would like to have you believe, don't want to stroke anyone's egos. But no, I just wanted to step up to a different challenge. I think that the Jets were probably one of my ideal teams that if I had to move from the Titans, it would have been for them. I think they have a solid core in the secondary with Adams. I thought they did an excellent job in building up a little bit of a line, and they picked up one of my favorites, Avery Williams from the Titans. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I thought there was enough there to build around, and plus that team is really young, probably younger than the Titans for the most part. I hate to leave Nashville, but I think I'm in a good position where I'm at now.
So how did it work out? Season 80, you there's a little bit of an up and down there, but overall, what do you think about your team?
Yeah, the up and down would be the best way to put it. I started off really rough. I think I don't know what my record was in the first 8 games, but I want to say it was probably 2-6. I really struggled trying to find a way to run the ball consistently. I think maybe in a year I had 2 games where I went over 100 yards rushing. The rest of the time, it was just I was lucky to get 3 yards per carry. And when my defense was giving up as many yards as I could, it was only a matter of time before I had to throw myself back in the game. I think the last couple of games, I actually started to put things together. Unfortunately, it didn't really matter at that point. It kind of just hurt my draft stock, but I was satisfied with how it ended.
So what do we feel like is set on this team, and what did you have to go into the offseason knowing had to change?
Right. So the real life Jets did a lot of work getting Sam Darnold. They gave up some picks now and in the future, so I'm going to have to pay for that. But I got Sam Darnold in the trade. I think I'm set there. I did a little bit of work this free agency, probably overspent on Gordon, considering how well the wide receivers are that I've been drafting or that I've seen drafted. But I got Gordon, so I think I'm set there with Gordon and Anderson. I think the one place that I still didn't get to shore up, and I probably won't, is that outside linebacker core. While I have some good pieces there, it's one position that I think I need to have a better scheme fit for, some better edge rushers. And right now I have a couple of big bodies who do a great job at stopping the run, but not much else. So everywhere else, though, I feel fairly confident that I've improved upon, especially with that first-round draft pick I got, that right tackle out of Florida. He's going to be a monster for me, hopefully, for this whole cycle.
Well, let's go there. How has the entire draft been? And that player specifically, is he going to be a starter? And then how's the rest of the draft worked out?
Yeah, so I drafted London Norwood, tackle out of Florida. While his scheme is a power, and I'm looking more for something agile. I think I'll find a way to fit my scheme around him. He's probably had the biggest output in the bench. I think he put up 39. A real strong beast, star development. Putting him right next to my import makes it so that I think I have a solid, at least right end of the offensive line. From there, I picked up a pretty good running back. He is not going to be the starter out the gate, but probably by year 2 or 3, I hope to have him where he needs to be. From there, the draft kind of, I don't want to say fell apart, but things just kind of didn't go the way I planned. A couple of linebackers went off the board, so I just kind of went best available. I think I was fortunate enough to get some decent talent, but, could have been better.
What's the plan as we wrap things up now that we are in pick number 26 here in the 6th round? But is there anything that you're looking to do in free agency? Is there anything you're looking to take some flyers here? Or do we feel like we're set as we roll into season 81?
The first thing I need to do is get some more content out there. I think one of the things that I liked to bring with Madden 18 was the amount of content that I was putting out. Kind of fell off this season, so I'm going to pick that up, write something about my draft, and I'm also looking forward to taking my team for a test spin, primarily that new offensive line. As far as free agency down the road, I'm not really looking to pick up anybody, but I did have quite a handful of expiring contracts on the books. So if I can't move them on trades, ladies, gentlemen, if you're looking for somebody, I might have someone. But if I can't trade them, then I'm going to let them walk and move on from there.
I think that one of the last things I have, and then we'll kind of open this up to Dwayne and Dawson, but really the last question I have is, where the hell you been on H1Z1?
Yeah, as soon as Madden dropped, I knew I needed the lab. I was behind the curve. I think I heard it from you and a couple other people that I did a really good job in Madden 18 of disappointing people. Expectations were always higher than what my delivery was, so I knew I needed to lab on that game, and I pretty much did just that. Did a lot of labbing, but I'll probably pick up H1Z1 now that everyone has Red Dead Redemption 2, and they won't be on H1Z1 anymore. I'll be on it alone.
I'll still be on there until that online for Red Dead comes out. Then I may disappear for a little bit. But no, look, I think for me watching your team, it was that we knew that you had the stick talent. I knew that you really had some work to do in Tennessee to build that team to fit you. I do think that the Jets fit your style more quickly than what the Tennessee Titans probably did. But you are set at quarterback. You are set on that defense outside of some minor positions. I'm excited to see what the Jets can do. I think that you should be in a really good financial place. Pick-wise, you're kind of like my team. Your real-life team gave up some serious picks for some players, but after you kind of get through that, you'll be able to draft well. And I'm excited to kind of see what's going to happen with the Jets. Dawson, Dwayne, do you guys have anything?
I don't want you to think if I've ever said anything about you leaving the AFC South. Now, I was looking for, me and you had a preseason rivalry for like 2 Madden, I think.
Yeah, I missed out on that. Yeah, I missed that.
I was really anxious, and I'm not knocking Bill because I've loved playing against Bill, but I was really looking forward to that. But I can't knock the Jets. I've been on a down low Jets fan, and it's all because of Jamal Adams. So if you hadn't went to the Jets would have been a real intriguing.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Time out. Are you the second Arkansas fan tonight to say that you liked an LSU player?
When he's in the pros.
He not is an LSU player, but he does fit that hard-hitting safety.
I got to make sure that I'm right. I got to make sure I'm right with the Lord because he's coming back tonight.
And they got some pieces over there. I thought the Jets are a real appealing team. Especially because I think, and knowing you, I've seen what you did with the top. I think you'll be able to mold them into what you want them to be, and I'm excited to see, especially that East with the Patriots. Taking some hits. The Patriots lost Tom Brady this last year, and I haven't seen them replace him. I think the NFC East be a little more wide open than it was, and I think with a year under your belt with the Jets, I thought it's going to be awfully interesting to see what happens over there.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the same. I think the AFC East is in prime position right now. I know that No Comp did an excellent job taking the Pats as far as he did, but he's kind of restarting, just like a lot of other teams, with this core getting a little bit old. So it gives me hope, and not to knock what Kev has done in Miami, not to knock what No Comp has done, not to knock anyone in the AFC East. Just know that you're on notice, and if you can't get it this year, you're probably not going to get it for the rest of the cycle.
Could you
No,
be
that's fine.
more PC, please? Jesus. I mean, you did everything but wash their car and take their wife out for dinner. I mean, we get it. Like, we need some real football trash talk. That's what we need here.
No. I want to hurt their feelings on the sticks, not in real life.
Well, you definitely don't mind doing that in H1Z1. You be hurting my feelings all the time. So, look, Jason, you're one of my favorite people here. We are super honored and blessed to have you a part of our community. And though you may not have done the content that you wish you would have, I super appreciate the help that you've been to Chaotic in the OMFL too, and you've taken on a massive leadership role there. You've helped us do a lot of the gaming to get the FPR games done for new converts as they kind of come into the league and try to get approved, and you've been a big asset there. So you may not have done the content that you wanted to do, but you have been a tremendous asset to the community, and I just appreciate you spending some of your free time with us.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it, gentlemen, and keep up the great work.
All right, my friend. There you have it. Mr. Clyde, Mr. Jason of the New York Giants. Pretty good outlook. I think it's going to be a dangerous team, and once he gets a few little things figured out, that's going to be a scary team in the AFC. My biggest question is, because No Comp came out of nowhere and took a struggling team and got so good so fast with them, and then racked up on freaking picks this draft, like, I don't know if you can overtake that fast, but if anybody can, Cincyberg and the rest of these teams have been just owning the AFC. They need to take notice, because Clyde and Jason and his Jets are going to be 100% ready to go and going to be pushing people to their limits.
Yeah, and also one thing, he did just win the Toilet Bowl, so
That's
congrats
right.
on that. And I know you were talking about that he kind of ended the season on a good note, so he's kind of ended the off season on a good note, and now he's looking to, I guess, continue that trend into the season 81.
And every team that's won the Toilet Bowl has followed that up with a playoff season within a season or two of winning the Toilet Bowl. So for those who don't know, we do a playoff tournament for 9 playoff teams after the season's over, just like all Madden settings, like just default, like head-to-head online with just default teams. So it's not exactly the same, but it does keep 9 playoff teams that want to be engaged. And Jason won that this past year, and that's something that should make the AFC take note. All right, who do we have next here?
He's already unmuted and ready to roll. Mr. Cheesehead himself.
There we have it, Mr. Cheesehead himself, Mr. Priest, Mr. Throw a Fit Priest. Priest, how you doing, buddy?
Okay, he's unmuted.
Did he pass out?
I ain't seen him. There he goes. I see his mic light up.
And Priest is one of these guys that if you ever play him online, he always has his mic on. And there's some games I play where I don't have my mic on, and it's so frustrating to hear him laugh. And he just has no care in the world while he's killing you and putting up 45 points, and it just drives me insane. I think we got him with us now here. Mr. Priest, how's it going tonight, buddy?
Is it working?
It's working. We got you now. Can you hear us? Technology, people. This is real life. This is live. Somebody tell him that it's working. He probably needs to mess with his settings. He probably messed with the settings and got the mic turned on. Now he needs to turn it on to where he can actually hear, because we can hear everything he's doing. So somebody message him and tell him what's up, because he clearly can't hear us unless he's watching the show.
I can hear you, D-Wayne.
Oh, we can hear you.
No.
D-Wayne, tell him I can hear him.
Yeah.
Priest, we can hear you.
All right.
But he
I had to turn the thing off. It was lagging hard.
I don't know what he's talking about. But anyway, can you hear me?
Hear Nate, though.
Oh my gosh. This is
Priest, you can hear Nate, can't you?
No, just you.
Tell him to check his settings real quick.
Nate said check your settings. You might have to go in your settings and change something.
Who, me?
He said, "Who me? It ain't me, homie. My stuff is working."
What?
This is so funny. Dawson, I don't know. Are you around the PlayStation?
Yeah, what's
I
up?
am Nate.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting on Mr. Priest to,
Which other show back on? Maybe I can hear him through that.
I'm gonna be lagging if he watches the show. Tell him. Tell him to get out of the chat and to get back into chat. I don't know why he can hear everybody but me too. It doesn't even make sense.
Okay, I can hear Nate.
Oh, now you can hear me?
now.
Can you hear me now?
Priest, you hear Nate now?
Yeah, I hear him.
He ain't hear you. I think it's just a slight lag behind him.
If he's watching the show, it's going to be way lagging. So, look, I'm going to let you, Dwayne, handle this whole interview since it's already starting off to be a cluster.
Okay, well, we try. I'm no Nate, but we'll go with it. So, Priest, how you feel about your draft so far? And Priest is gone. Okay, well, my interview didn't go very good. Okay, well,
he so wanted to be interviewed by you, he left. He's like, "No, I'm out. No, I'll take my chances
it's not real.
in the
it's
world."
Not real unless it's Nate. It's not real unless it's Nate. There he is. Can you hear us, Priest?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear Nate, though, for some reason.
That is odd. That's odd. You can hear our horrible internet. But,
Go ahead, Dwayne.
yeah, man.
You handle this one.
Why don't you tell us? Why don't you tell us about your draft, Priest? Tell us what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. Did you fill some needs that you thought you needed filled?
Yeah, like I did that big trade at the beginning of the year. Got rid of probably one of the top left tackles, gave him to the Rams. I did acquire his first round and cup, which will help bolster my receiving squad. But yeah, I picked up Banks Richard left end. He's going to start. I think he's going to do very well. Hard sell, it's Jones' spot right now. Jones is my starting running back. So if Hard sell wants that, he's going to have to show it on the field. And then everything else is just, I didn't have really no line. So I it's going to be all rookie O-line except Lindsey playing center. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, I know you had a couple bids out on some big name players in free agency. Did you? I don't think you ended up getting McCoy, but did you get any of those bids that you had bids on?
I had. I got Blount from the Lions, but I think he. I picked up a couple of guards that I kind of overpaid for one, but. It's really good, so that's what I drafted.
I think, Nate, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I think it's him. He's breaking up. This is the world's worst interview on the history of every interview on the planet. This is up there.
Well, Priest, I'll give you one last question before we get off.
All right.
What do you see yourself going into this next season? Where do you see yourself competing? I've seen two of your NFC North brothers on here tonight, and they've had a lot to say about the NFC North. What do you have to say about that?
D-ball, he hates losing. I came back and beat him. The truth is, I finished 8-8. I lost 4 games by 3 points. I win those games. It's my division.
Ooh.
I gotta stop throwing interceptions. I got to take sacks. We all know that. It's the running game. I get my running game going with my passing attack. I feel that I can contend even going deep into the playoffs. It's just I got to do it. So, Debo, you're going 0-2.
All right, I think.
Did you get that?
The last part cut out, man. I don't know what.
I can hear him pretty. I can hear him pretty good. He said that 00 was going to be going 0-2.
Well, Rep the NFC, Debo. You going down?
Oh man.
This is terrible. Just thank him for his time.
I can't tell if it's my priest, but that was I enjoyed the call in. I don't know. My up over here on me too. I think.
I can hear you both fine.
It's weird.
It's
EA just kicked me off the draft for some reason.
Oh, I forgot to.
All right, I'm gonna mute myself again.
All right, priest. We enjoyed it, and you have fun with.
Hey, Priest, when are you gonna let me have the Packers?
When you get a team that I like.
Oh man. All right, then. Well, best of luck this season.
All right, you too. I think I got you second week, Dawson.
Yeah. We're up again this season. So best of luck. It's up week 2.
Good.
That was frustrating just because I enjoy interviewing Priest so much, and he is a fun interview. Like I said, when you'll play, you can hear him like he's chilling out talking to his wife, and he's like laughing, and he's like talking about plays. And if you are playing him and not on mic to talk back, it can be infuriating. Like to hear him like just be so laid back and having a good time, and you're like, why is he hanging 45 points on me right now? Like, I'm so pissed off at this dude. But he brings so much energy. He runs our coach mode league. He also helps, I think, in the OMFL too. I could be wrong about that, but I know he plays in a couple different leagues. So we love Priest. Priest, if you can hear me on the stream, I don't know why you couldn't hear me on the chat. That was kind of weird, but yeah, you're one of my favorite guys here too, and I appreciate you being here. Who we got coming up next?
We got Kev ready to roll.
Mr. Kev. Which Kev? Because there's several Kevs.
Kevin, Miami Dolphins.
Mr. Miami Dolphin Kevin. Thinking and talking about the Tennessee Titans earlier, Jason said that, we were the subject of a lot of talks on the show about how we would be frustrated by his team. Kevin could probably also throw himself in that bucket because he was one of those teams that would win the games you didn't expect him to win, but then lose the games you thought he was going to win. Kevin, how you doing tonight, bud? This is so bad. We'll get all the bugs figured out here soon. I know we will. Well, while Kevin kind of gets ready, Kevin's been another team that... Is he back?
Do you hear him?
No, I don't hear him at all.
I can hear him. I don't know what the... I can hear him just fine, Nate. I'm not sure what...
All right, well, give me 1 second. Let me do this. Hold on. Oh, he's still muted on my side. So I don't know how you can hear him, but let me unmute him. How do I unmute? Oh,
I can hear him. I'm not sure.
No, he's unmuted now. Mr. Kevin?
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Some reason you were muted, and I bet you that's why Priest couldn't hear me. I bet you he manually had me muted, which is why he couldn't hear any word I was saying, because somehow I had Kevin manually muted. So how's it going tonight, Kevin?
Pretty good. I could hear you fine.
Yeah, I had you manually muted for some unknown reason. It's weird. Discord does those kind of things sometimes. So, talk about your team. How was season 80 for the Miami Dolphins?
It was pretty bad, but you can only go up from 3-13.
You were 3-13. We had what, the number 1 pick? Were you the number 1 pick?
Yeah.
So at least we can hang our hat that even with the number 1 pick, you still won 3 games. You weren't like a 1 and something or an 0 and 16. Like, you at least won some games.
3 guys just didn't want to win.
I don't doubt that at all. So tell us, what happened in season 80? How did things go so bad so quickly?
Interceptions, quarterback fumbles, just learning the game. Bad defense.
So basically everything from start to finish?
Pretty much.
So what was the plan? As we went into season 81, off-season, business season, whatever you want to call it, what was your kind of plan and some of the things that you needed to have happen?
Well, with the number 1 overall, it's hard not to go with the quarterback when you have that top quarterback sitting there. So I took
and you
him.
took a stud.
Yeah, he was real good.
Before
95
we go to
power.
the draft, though, let's talk about the free agency. Were you looking to spend money? Were you looking to make trades? Did you just kind of stay put? What was your kind of plan for re-signs and free agency?
I just stayed put. I wasn't about to overpay for guys. There was really nothing there. I needed offensive line, and all the guys that were available were getting way overpaid.
Wade.
Yeah, I got stuck with 2 of them because one I was losing on, and so I signed one for a cheap contract thinking I was going to lose the other one, and the other one signed with me anyway. And so, yeah, I was one of the guys who got stuck with, I got caught up in the bidding. So as you move, you kind of knew that your team was going to need offensive line. You really fell in love with the quarterback. Was that the plan going into the draft? Did you know you were going quarterback, or was he just too good to pass up?
When you're that high, the plan was quarterback. I know Tannehill's old, and you know it's time to get a good quarterback. I was lucky last Madden, with the import I brought over, and he played really well, and just had to find the right quarterback for this Madden.
What do you like about him?
His throw power. He's got good deep accuracy, good medium accuracy. Pretty much all the ratings are pretty good. He's not as mobile as Tannehill, but I don't run at all. I just need him. Just need to get some blocking in front of me.
Is he going to be starter day 1?
Of course.
What's the plan for the rest of the draft? How did the rest of your draft play out? Was it what you expected?
I was hoping one of those top offensive linemen would fall to the number 1 in the second round, but it didn't happen, so had to reach on a guy. Wasn't too bad. Had pretty good stats across. He's a little weak, so I have to use some incentive points to boost up his strength, and he's quick development, but other than that, just a couple more offensive linemen to develop.
What are we looking to do as we move into the preseason? Are you going to be active in free agency? Are you looking to make trades, or do you feel like the team that you have is the team you're going to roll with?
I think the team I have is pretty much what I'm going to roll with, unless somebody's giving away some offensive line.
Well, come calling, because I may have to get rid of some now that I got 2 that I didn't want. What is the expectations for season 81?
Win more than 3 games.
Kevin's giving me 0. Like, I'm just gonna put him on blast right here. He's giving me nothing. What did you like about him? His arm. Okay. What was your plan? Get a quarterback. Okay. You got to give me something to work with here, Kev. What do we think that we're going to struggle again? Is the plan still rebuild, or do we think that we've turned the corner and with this rookie quarterback that we can make a push for the division?
I think we can make a push. We contended late. We contended in a lot of games, but just turnovers late killed them. You know, that's just the biggest thing. You just got to keep the turnovers down. Tannehill had a lot of interceptions and a lot of fumbles, which is no good. Then I lost Drake at the end of the season, and hopefully next season will be a lot better.
So how do you do that? How do we cut down on turnovers with a rookie quarterback?
Go Dwayne style and run 40 times a game.
That's what I'm talking about.
It does prove to be a winning formula for football. Dwayne, Dawson, you guys got anything for our buddy Kev?
I've seen Kev be dominant. I've seen Kev's offense be dominant. And he's always had a really great defense, just a dominant front 7. So we know it's there. He's got his team there. I just think it's just putting all the pieces together, and kind of like he said to start this interview, is just learning this new Madden. You know, some people learn it faster than others. You know, the way I always tell them that I play such a simple way. My way is the easiest way to figure out a game because I don't tense the game a whole lot. But I know Kev, if I'm not mistaken, for about 2 or 3 seasons last Madden, he was top 5 in the league, passing offense, total offense. And when you play that way, it is riskier. I don't think you're far off. I think the AFC East is more wide open than people would think.
You can tell it's the 7th round, pick 22. Nobody even has anything to say. Kev, thanks for being on the show. I'm pulling for you, buddy. You're one of my favorite people here, too. You're so active. I so appreciate you being part of our community, and thanks for coming and being on the show with us.
Thanks, bud. Have a good one.
Have a good one, my buddy. All right, who we got next? The Pope?
I actually have somebody you're going to be really ready. It's Brady. Brady's ready to roll.
Mr. Brady? Like the Mr. Brady?
The Brady.
Well,
I'll let him unmute himself, Brady.
Mr.
I'm
Brady,
sure
please unmute yourself. Oh, it's my pick. Crap. Let me make my pick real quick.
All right, can you hear me, guys?
I can hear you. Who's this? This isn't Brady.
This is Brady.
Oh, it is.
Oh yes, sir.
Hold on one second. Let me make my pick. What do I want to do here? Oh, crap. I don't know what to do. I wasn't even looking. I wasn't paying attention.
Go tight end. Go tight end.
Oh, I'm going to take a chance on a Mississippi State kicker.
So, Brady, why don't you, just starting off, why don't you tell us the thought process behind, I'm glad you did it. I'm really glad you did it, but trading Ramsey to the Giants.
Well, I mean, look, fellas, there's no, I guess you say there's no secret that I actually have, had 3 guys, 3 top tier talented players on defense of all sides coming up on free agency next season. Ramsey was one of them. The next one in line is Ngakoue on the defensive line. And then the third piece, and I'm pretty sure Chaotic, if he's on here listening, is grinning from ear to ear, and that's Miles Jack. So, so yeah, having that much talent, getting ready to vault. I didn't really want to start the season with all 3, with the possibility of all 3 of them probably saying, hey, I want 6 years, 7 years, whatever the case may be.
Right.
Might be able to keep one, but wasn't trying to listen to all that noise. And being a person that's controlled a team outside this league, controlled the Ravens, and looking at all that cap space and money, Jaguars don't have that kind of cash. So I just I was like, you know what? I never trade. And I took the chance to, snag a couple picks. Lost the second along with Ramsey, but gained 2 first picks. But it wasn't like a high first. So, one of the studs that I actually have my eye on went to Chaotic, and that would have made it all together. It's sweet if he could have fell in my lap, but yeah, it wasn't likely gonna happen. But yeah, that was the reason behind that trade.
This has to be the most chill, laid back, suave Brady I've ever heard in my life. That's why I was so thrown off by, was this Brady? Brady usually brings the heat. Mr. championship basketball coach and actor of voice actors. He's probably an underwear model and he just doesn't want to tell us all. But
that ain't happening.
Tell me.
Canada?
Did he move? Did he move to Canada?
I do rep teams in Canada, but I don't live in Canada.
So tell us a little bit about your draft. What was the kind of the plan going into this, and did we accomplish the goals that you kind of set out for?
Well, other than Pepper throwing Ramsey shots at me in the main chat, with laughing at my quarterback decision, that I went after first in the draft. I think it still turned out pretty decent because I actually got, I feel like, the second best quarterback, and we're not gonna get into this debate, Massimo. So just cut it. Stay in Dallas. You had your chance to stay in the South. But anyway, yeah, when it comes to quarterbacks, I think I landed a stud in Watson. Now, yeah, he's a superstar. Crap, man. I mean, he doesn't have the throwing power that I thought he was going to have because, looking at my board that I created with the hashtag scouting tool, I just thought he, with his reps and bench press, I thought he was going to be a little bit stronger than Massimo's pick Archer, but it's all good. I mean, 88 throwing power, 76 deep accuracy, 85 mid accuracy, but the short game is going to be crucial because he's a 90 accuracy there, coming
But
in with a
can
78
you win
overall.
with an 88 throwing power quarterback?
With as limited as passing, with the limited, passing repertoire that I have, he's no Blake Bortles. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's for dang sure. I mean, his carry out the box is going to be a 66. I think Bortles' carry is a 57. So he might not fumble as much, but he also has a 78 speed, 84 acceleration, which I didn't really look at that much, but that's
So
actually
let me
somewhat.
ask you a question about that. So you just said a couple of things that are intriguing. Like, I played you for a long time. You were in Tampa Bay. You and I had a great rivalry going. I miss it, even though Maniac just kind of mops the floor with me, and D-Money kind of has his way with my booty hole, and they kind of do what they want with me over there. But playing you, I know that your team is built around defense, especially that defensive line, a really great running game going. My question is why don't you look at a mobile quarterback that can get out of the pocket and kind of make some plays for you whenever there isn't that passing game or those passing lanes that you're looking for?
Well, the main reason why I kind of stay away from scrambling quarterbacks in hindsight, being a former FPR person, um, there's no cheesier thing than having someone come out and 3 wide receiver sets, hike the ball maybe a second, and then all of a sudden you're taking off. Um, you know, those type of tactics. I feel you save that for like a league outside though. There's plenty of leagues around here that'll let you run 15, 20 times with your quarterback, and it's not going to be an issue. Running with your quarterback in the OMFL, you just really can't do it as much because it doesn't count towards your 80-20 rule. Shameless plug there for the FPR manager that's on deck. But anyway, but yeah, so I mean, as cool as it would be, I already got a couple pieces from Baltimore. I've already threw my hat in for Action Jackson when he's done, tinkering with it. But I doubt that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I hope that's not going to happen. I think I am one of the 100 people that has also thrown my hat in there, but I think he loves him just as much as we do. What are you planning for season 81? I mean, what's it going to take for your team to continue that upward movement here? But actually, like I know you. I know how hard you work. I know how hard you plan. I know how hard you compete. But that you always tend to hit that speed bump in that divisional round. So what's it going to take this year for the team to take that next step and finally get into an OMFL Bowl?
I still, to this day, I still, knowing that it was like the last season when I was in Tampa and I made it to the Super Bowl, I still hold an image of that on my old cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
just to say that I did make it, even though it really was like garbage time. But man, to get over the hump, now that there's Dwayne, Bill, I got you envy me, that's my competition 2 times every year, and yeah, it's let's face it, man. There's no cupcakes in the South. I mean, when you look at everybody's record this past season, um, you know, even being slotted to possibly win the South with the new guys coming in. I didn't mind being third or wherever I get I finished up at, but it's always a goal to get to the championship. But I will tell you, last season, um, dropping my controller and it picking kick the ball instead of receive, yeah, that one still brings a bad taste in my mouth. So every time I look at the New York Jets, I really wish I could, like, one game and one game only, drop 50, break every FPR rule known to man, just to get him back for that. But it wasn't his fault. I dropped my controller, so it is what it is.
What are we most excited about your team? The changes, because you've made some really big changes. I think some smart changes, right? You're thinking about the future, your cap. But what are you most excited about getting your hands on with this team to see what they're going to play like?
Well, the biggest thing is my wide receiver. I'm not sure if uh, anybody on my team lately. I have 11 wide receivers. I literally have 11 wide receivers.
That's a few.
Yeah, I have 4 weeks preseason, to somewhat find the right fit. Now, out of those 11, there's about 6 of them that are 90 plus speed, and I have I have something in mind of what I want, but then of course, trying to fit in the new quarterback, because when you stack up the new quarterback alongside, Bortles is an 81, quarterback is a 78, but when you look at the different stats, he's actually a much better quarterback than Blake Bortles, except for on deep accuracy, throw on the run, and throw under pressure. Outside of that, I mean, he's got a better play action, he's got a better carry, stuff like that. So my mission is to hopefully win this out. But defensively, I kind of took a hit losing Ramsey, because Ramsey, my defense was rated 95. Losing Ramsey dropped me to 86, something like that. Yeah, 86 defense, which is it's still not too bad, but that main piece is missing, because when you had a guy on your team that was 98 man coverage, like, come on, you can't do anything with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course Prattis isn't getting younger. So
talk about Kratos for a second. Now, guys gave you a hard time about bringing him over. He was like 33, 34. I don't remember what he was, but he also was sitting on like a 1-year, $19 million contract. But then you break the OMFL record for interceptions in a season with 21. He's in the record books. I don't know if you've checked out his cool little graphic that he's had made, but then had to go into free agency, and then you went out there and got him in free agency. Like, what's the love affair with this guy, and how much longer can he continue to play at a high level?
Man, the biggest thing for me is I want him to retire a Jaguar, because that was one of those guys that I picked. I'm not sure who I stole him from, but I remember the nasty grams coming in constant when I snagged him up last year. But yeah, he reminds me of Buzz, man. Anybody that's a Jaguars fan who knows, Buzz Leslie and whatnot, what he meant to the, Jaguars organization, that's what Prattis is, in the fictional sense. So that's the main reason why I'm willing to drop as much money as I am on a gentleman that is, like, older. But the one thing that I like is the fact that I took the time last Madden to learn how to play linebacker. But what a lot of the guys don't understand is, in the process of learning how to play linebacker, I learned how to play safety. So technically, I do have a safety game as well, but I don't use it as much because it only don't get past practice.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, I think I'm still pretty well off, but next Madden, next season, it's just getting better, getting used to the competition that I have, and not losing stupid games is what I like to call it. Stop making the stupid mistakes. But I will say, getting away from a custom playbook and going to a stock playbook was the right decision. But now it's time to go back home, so to speak. So I got something in store for the guys this season.
Well, there you have it, Mr. Brady with the Jaguars. One of our longest members here, was on our board for a very long time. One of my favorite people here. I've said that a lot tonight, but I got a lot of favorite people. Dawson, Dwayne, any final questions for our buddy?
Oh man, I've really enjoyed our new rivalry. I kind of look forward to it. Hesitantly look forward to it when I came to the South. I didn't figure Brady was going to leave, and it's really Brady's division until it still is Brady's division. Because when I think of the AFC South, I think of the Jags, and I think of Kratos. Kratos is the AFC South. He's just our guy. We all claim him as he's the guy. So I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing what these Jaguars like. Because like I said, Brady really turned it on, and you really showed another gear. Like I said, when you changed playbooks last season, and as long as Kratos is in the middle, I promise you, Brady, I'll never throw in the middle as long as he's there.
I mean, he takes donations. So
I know he does.
Just keep them coming. But I will say, I will take this time real quick to apologize to the guys in the league real quick, because there was a instance where, Madden was going through some EA errors, which, again, I want to apologize. There was 1 week where my settings got reset, and I will say that was the worst I've ever felt, especially as much work as I put in to learn how to, as they like to call it, lurking the field. As much as I put in, like the time that I put in to learn how to, take my time, when to time it, when to use it, when not to use it. Having those settings reset to where it shows almost like assist. Oh, that was bullshit. And again, that's one of those things where I was like, you son of a, I was like, man, fuck you, EA. Really, seriously. Fuck you guys, because I mean, it never would have reset if there wasn't those constant errors. But again, I just wanted to apologize to the guys live.
No, it's all good. Things happen, and yeah, we trust you, and yeah, I wasn't worried about it at all. Congratulations for the success with the Jaguars and for breaking that record with Kratos, and yeah, good luck in season 81. I know we'll definitely be talking about you on the show and keeping an eye on you, and I know that you're always really busy in real life, but yeah, this whole season 80, you've been super, super engaged and plugged in, and I think maybe I've even seen a content or two drop from the old Jaguars. So I'm super excited to see what you got coming, and I wish you the best luck.
Hey, no doubt, man. As always, Nate, man, thanks for having me. Because I mean, hey, I've been doing this for a while. So, but it felt real good this season to kind of. I think I got up to like level 15 in the chat. Normally it's crickets in my area. Level 2, level 3, but I got up to level 15. That should have been at least a couple extra incentive points sent my way. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
No, we appreciate you being here. And there you go, Brady of the Jacksonville Jaguars, our old FPR manager for a long time here in the OMFL, and always a pleasure. And folks, that's it, my friends. We have not only ended, but I am now trying to get my practice in for week 1, as Brady was talking. We're going to give you guys a couple extra minutes if you need it, but we're going to be advancing to week 2 here soon. So it's been a great draft show. Dawson, Dwayne, all the guys who came on for interviews. I know the pre-show sucked this year just because I was scrambling at the very end, but this has been great. This is one of my funnest things that we do. It's one of the best things that we do here, and I just appreciate you guys being on with me, and it's on to season 81, guys.
We're excited. We're ready.
All right, well, for Dawson, for Dwayne, for all of the leadership maniac who I know wanted to be here tonight but couldn't, for everybody here in the OMFL, thanks so much for tuning in. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in season 81. Man, we didn't even talk about the Pro Bowl votes and all the new voting and the whole new system. I love what we do. I will never say that we're the best, because I don't think there is a best. I think there's just a good fit for owners, but I know that though there are leagues that put out better content and have better equipment to put out better content, and some leagues who put out so much content that I'm like, I don't know how the hell you have that much time. even with all that, I think that we have the most innovative ideas. We do the most innovative stuff. And I love this place, man. I love the people here, and I'm super honored to be able to be a part of it. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight. We are done. We're going to get us through the preseason, let you play your Week 4 games, and then we'll be into Season 81 starts tomorrow, that means, because we'll give you 24 hours. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, we'll start Season 81, and then we'll be off and running. Any closing thoughts?
Man, I'm excited. I'm ready. Like I said, I think that might have been the most few, but we literally ran out. And I know Josh with the Bills, I think he wanted to call in at one point, and I think we just ran out of time. It would have been great to be able to get everybody called in. But I thought it was a great show. I thought it was an awesome show, and I'm excited.
Yeah, anybody that wanted to call in that couldn't, make sure you send Dwayne a message, and we'll try to get you to come on one of the shows this year, and we'll do a quick interview with you on one of the Press Pass Lives. Dawson, any closing thoughts as we wrap things up?
I think Dawson's done checked out.
He's already checked out. That's totally fine. All right, Dwayne, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging in there. Give the well, she's not technically wife, fiance, but I know she will be one day soon. So give her a big hug. Give her a big hug and kiss from old Nate, and I appreciate letting you come and help me do this. So, guys, have a great week. God bless, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Later, guys.